Welcome, everyone, to Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. We are live from Fort Worth, just outside of Fort Worth, Texas, just south of Denton, Texas, at Texas Motor Speedway, the half mile. They have, dirt track races in here. Tonight, they will have off-road dirt track races on the short course. Welcome, everyone. My name is Robbie Floyd. To my right is Scott Rain. And, Scott, you see the crowd starting to work their way in. I'd like to welcome everybody here watching live and those watching around the world on TorcSeries. I'd like to thank them for that. And this is supposed to be a two-day event, Scott, but unfortunately, Mother Nature, they weren't on our side yesterday, and we had to cancel round one and come back with round two. But it's going to be a great one tonight. Perfect weather, temperatures in the 80s, a slight wind blowing away from the stands. You couldn't ask for more.
Well, I think for the fans that are listening on the World Wide Web, that they'll be able to relate to this next comment. The weather we've had the last 3 or 4 days here in Texas has been Crandon-esque. Tons and tons of rain like you wouldn't understand. Today, polar opposite. Beautiful, fantastic weather. The sun is great. The weather's actually, everything's been perfect to dry out the track, but the moisture is still there. We're going to have a great track conditions tonight.
And you see the crowd starting to work their way in. I know you're probably starting to hear Kate Osborne coming through our microphone a little bit, but also doing a lot of track preparation around there today because it was super muddy. This is clay dirt. They might have late models on here in a couple of months or maybe some modifies, but very seldom do they have the off-road trucks, and that's what they're going to see tonight. So they have to rework the dirt a little different than normal.
Oh, what you're going to have tonight is big, thick, deep lugs in these 18-inch wide tires. They'll rip into this dirt, probably 3-4 inches deep every single lap when you're talking about four-wheel drive.
Well, we're going to step away for just a moment here at Texas Motor Speedway. You see them working the track just a little bit. We've got a lot more still to come. Opening ceremonies here in just a moment. At Torc, the Off-Road Championship.
We had these torrential downpours, and these trucks are not designed to have another 2,000 pounds of mud put on them. And then you pack the radiators tight. The tranny gauge, the water gauge, the oil gauge, everything's pegged. The AMSOIL product came through for us and kept the rear end, the transmission, and the engine all running fine. And I tell you what, we were ready to go for the next day and pretty proud of it.
Acceleration is a beautiful thing. Pedal down, pulse up. And nothing feeds your engine what it craves like a K&N Performance air intake system. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed. Pushing you even closer to that blurry line between kick-ass and whiplash.
Again, we'd like to welcome all the fans here at Texas Motor Speedway, the dirt track at Texas Motor Speedway, the 1.5-mile oval just behind us. They've been doing part of their NASCAR racing experience throughout the day. You hear those cars just going around that 1.5-mile oval. Have you ever taken a lap around Texas Motor Speedway?
As a matter of fact, I have. It was about 7 years ago, but it was in a Pro 2. I knew Tony Stewart. Yeah, Tony Stewart was over there with some media, and I know Tony from a long, long time ago, so I jumped into a Pro 2, and I got permission from the owner of the series to go over there, but not the racetrack facility. So I drove this thing across the racetrack, up onto the NASCAR track, down pit road, and I parked right in front and said, "Tony, what's up?"
What's kind of funny is I had the option here. I used to cover the IndyCar series for Versus, which is now NBC Sports Network. But I used to cover the IndyCar series. I had an option. I said, do I ride with Arie Luyendyk Jr., who you will see tonight, or do I ride with Davey Hamilton? And Davey had a massive crash here, almost took his life, and he survived that and come back and race the Indy 500 and all. I said, I'm riding with Davey. No offense to Arie, but I'm going around this track with Davey, and I went around that track at about 170-plus miles an hour with Davey Hamilton. It was unbelievable. But Ari Leindyke Jr., I know there's a lot of Ari fans out there, and a lot of gunk fans. I spray their degreaser on my vehicles. A lot of Ari fans out there, and he's taking a lap or two around the big track here. Now we'll see how good he is at the small track here at Short Course Off-Road Racing.
I don't care what anybody says. Racing is racing, but there's a difference when it comes to that big track behind us and what you're going to see on the track here tonight.
Oh, yeah. And
one major factor. This is, I call it four-dimensional because you're going right, left, but you're also going up and down. Right. And the air. Some of these guys that are coming from other forms of motorsports takes a good year behind the wheel of learning how to take off of a jump and how to land,
right,
and not sideways, not nose heavy. So it takes a little bit. And you know what? There's a couple of guys that had spent that year last year doing that, and I think we're going to see something from them this week.
I think Ari is one of those guys, and now he's paired up. He's going to have a teammate. And we'll talk about all this throughout the race. And for those of you watching online and these fans, we're going to get our presentation underway here in just a few moments with opening ceremonies. But Ari Leindyke Jr. going to be paired with Cam Reimers.
That is a weird. That's
but it's
strange.
good because you have this guy
it
comes
so
from
different.
open wheel, car racing, and another kid that comes from four-wheeler racing. So he's actually helping him on suspension
setup. One kid from Phoenix,
setup.
one kid from Iowa.
Yeah,
but then you go to Cam Reimers, and I've been laughing at him all weekend that he's the most California-ish Iowan
right.
I know.
Ames is like the west coast of Iowa.
At least in his neighborhood.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. You see the
Check
fans
that
starting
out.
to
How
work
about
their
that?
way in. I mean, it's good. And remember, it was a full-on flood yesterday. I live probably about 25 miles from here. Lakes are all low around this area, and I just heard word that Lake Louisville, which is right near my house, is actually at full level right now as far as their conservation level. So that's how much rain we've gotten in the past few weeks. We're going to see tonight, they're applying water, down the front straightaway. It dried out that much today, and a track that's really not used that often here, the half mile at Texas Motor Speedway.
And I want to go take attention trackside right now. Probably one of the most meaningful bodies I think I've seen in any race truck in quite a few years. We're doing something very, very special this weekend, near and dear to our hearts. We had the opportunity, 2 months ago, we paired up with the Chris Kyle Benefit Foundation, and their event is next weekend. And a lot of us have gotten to know the Kyle family the last couple of days. We've gotten to meet them for the first time, and we've got a very special driver behind the wheel, that Pro 4 out on the track, and running the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit colors, near and dear.
So we're going to step aside for just a moment. You see the Chris Kyle truck down there. We're going to see who's represented in that truck here in just a little bit. The Pro Lights, the Pro two-wheel drives, and the Pro 4s when we return.
I'm professional drifter Ryan Torc, and I use VP fuels.
Acceleration is a beautiful thing. Pedal down, pulse up. And nothing feeds your engine what it craves like a K&N Performance air intake system. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed. Pushing you even closer to that blurry line between kick-ass and whiplash.
When I'm out there racing, God, I love the sound.
What Borla does with the sound of this exhaust. There's a linear relationship between what's going on in the engine to what's going on in the exhaust.
When I hear that engine scream and get above 6,000 RPM, it's the sound of power.
That's all you need to know is to the exhaust. What a great product, well engineered.
Torc, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL. by GoPro, by Cooper Tires, and by Pep Boys.
Well, then once again, there's that scenic shot of the beautiful facility here at Texas Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, now tonight is a special privilege, honor for the entire staff of the Torc Series, along with every race team here and myself especially, that I'm able to introduce to you tonight's Grand Marshal. His family has allowed us to run the colors and logos of two different charitable foundations their son started upon retirement from the SEAL. They are the parents of the most decorated Navy SEAL sniper in America's history, Christopher Scott Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome up to the front stretch flag stand, Debbie and Wayne Kyle.
Fantastic event. Don't y'all think this is a great looking truck here? We can't thank Torc enough for involving us. It's a hardwire. Okay, everything good? Start over? All right. Can everybody hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? Okay. We're going to go anyway. Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Tonight is very special for us. We want to thank Torc for involving the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit in this event here. And we want to thank them for putting together this fantastic looking truck. So we appreciate it so much. This is one of Chris's passions, was racing. He loved it. He would have a blast out here tonight. And of course, Debbie and I wish that he could be here sharing it with us. But Chris's biggest passion was to give back to the veterans. And that's what Debbie and I are doing. And our youngest son, Jeff, and his wife, Amy, is we're carrying on Chris's legacy by giving back to the veterans. That is our true passion. That is our goal in life right now, is to be able to do whatever we can to give back to. And we thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank each and every veteran that's here. We appreciate you. We thank you for your service. If you have served or if you are currently serving, we thank you. We appreciate you so much from the bottom of our heart, from the Kyle family. You mean so much to us. And we thank Torc so much for this. And we invite everybody to look forward to the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit next weekend. Unfortunately, all the dinner tickets are sold, but come join us for a tremendous night of entertainment. We have a great lineup both Friday night and Saturday night. Gates open at 8:30 to the public, so please come and join us. 100% of the proceeds goes to Guardian for Heroes, which is actually the foundation that Chris started himself before he was killed. Thank everybody. Have a great evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not often that we as a national traveling racing series are this privileged in having in attendance with us tonight fans with such an honorable and dignified background. As a series, as an individual race teams, and as thankful citizens to remember the military personnel who gave all for our country. But in recent years, our generation's hearts have been touched like never before. Brothers and sisters have been ripped from the fabric of their families at home. Fathers and mothers made the hardest decisions of their lives to leave their loved ones, and much too often to never return. They all made the choice to put themselves in harm's way for the ultimate goal to protect our freedoms of democracy, and by the grace of God, and with the never-ending hope that our children would never have to make such a choice. So tonight, we honor all our military and service personnel. So at this time, please listen closely. If you are currently serving or have served in the past in the Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, the Army, or Marine Corps, please stand up and remain standing. Let's not forget about our first responders. If you're now or have served in the past as a police officer, fireman, or EMT, please stand up as well. No, race fans, look next to you. These are the individuals that have run into the proverbial fire when others don't. Whether we knew them or not, please, a huge Texas-sized round of applause and thank you to each and every one of them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn down trackside to Wayne and Debbie Kyle.
Actually, we're going to go ahead and do our invocation right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you would remain standing. Our invocation tonight, Jones. So we're waiting for just a moment, having some technical difficulties. You see our color guard down there, Robbie Floyd and Scott Rain with you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you could go ahead and take your seats for just a moment. We want to go ahead and get this thing started off right. And the Mother Nature not only tough on the track yesterday and today, but also with some of our equipment. And you can imagine with all the miles of cable that run around, what water does to that as well, and that seems to be the case that's happening right now.
Well, we had issues yesterday because we went through the full production as far as broadcasting, announcing, the music, the cameras, but we were doing it in the thunderstorm and lightning yesterday,
Right.
and you were not having any fun.
No,
To say, none of these guys are out there, the camera guys, the crew, they were doing this in the storm. So
Yeah.
we had it working yesterday, but sometime during the night something happened with all this water, like you said, did something somewhere, and we're trying to search it for it right now.
And it's both tied into that one camera out there. But you can see the facility. They've done a great job getting it to this point, and there's just one thing you can't control, and that's Mother Nature. And that's been the case as the inches of rain that's fallen on this place in the past week and a half. Sun is setting here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, around the world on TorcSeries.com, and you talk about what it meant to you, tied in with the Chris Kyle family, and I know with all the people that have watched American Sniper and a movie, but it really depicted some of the hardships and the things that people don't get to see. That you have to deal with it in your family with your son-in-law that's overseas or wherever he is around the world representing our country.
Yeah, my son-in-law Chris Meyer is actually stationed right now in North Carolina, and just got home a few months ago from deployment, and is being told that he's probably be going back in August. For his 5th deployment, I think it is, of his military career. And this will be his 2nd time leaving his family, my daughter, his wife, and his 3-year-old baby. And today's technology, though, is a very wonderful thing. Was on a ship, stationed on a ship this last deployment.
Could he even tell you where he was at?
No.
Right.
He wasn't allowed to. But when they would dock at a port someplace, first thing he'd do, he would run and find a coffee shop that had Wi-Fi, and the wonderful things of these iPads, and he would try to Skype or FaceTime the baby. And guess who had to actually buy a 3-year-old an iPad this last Christmas, because that little kid knows how to work an iPad, right. So she could FaceTime not only with her dad overseas someplace, but with Nana back here in California.
And a lot of military installations around this. Of course, Fort Hood down south of us here. But even in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, I grew up in Duncanville and then moved up into Allen, Naval Air Station in Grand Prairie, and some of them still not very active anymore. But I believe our color guard is actually going to be from the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base in Fort Worth. But at Carswell Air Force Base, they build the F-16s not too far behind us over here. So a big military presence in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And we'd like to thank all of those people that are not only here at our Military Appreciation day, but also around the world that are watching us on torcseries.com. This is not the television show. This is part of our online streaming of this event. For those of you watching, we will have a television show on Fox Sports 2. A few of the episodes will be on Fox Sports 1, but it's good to be on Fox Sports. That's where Amsoil Arena Cross, which you're having a race in Fresno, California that I get to cover, they're on Fox Sports. So it's good to be a part of the Fox Sports family. So anytime you ever get the chance, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, I know you're big. You don't even call it a hashtag. You call it what? A number sign?
Pound.
Yeah, pound sign. That's right.
I'm an old guy.
Hashtag Torc or hashtag Torc Series, or I like hashtag Torc on Fox. That's
just something that goes on a plate. Pound sign is.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah. But, we mentioned the Chris Kyle Foundation benefit coming up in 1 week. And our community of off-road racers is a very small community, whether it be the racers or the fan base. And we got a great group of people back home in Wisconsin. The John Holtz right now, they are at the Stoneyard Food and Spirits for a benefit for John Holtz in Greenville, Wisconsin. They're all tuned in. They got live music starting in about a half hour. But right now, they're at this restaurant watching us here in Texas. So a big shout out to the gang there. John Holtz, keep fighting the good fight. He is a former racer in off-road, has run a few different classes, won a few different championships. And I guess his brother will be running their race car in the Sportsman Series later on this summer back in Wisconsin. So once again, John Holtz, keep fighting the good fight, buddy, and we'll see you this summer sometime in Wisconsin.
Sounds good. We'll be there not too long from now. All right, I think we're going to fire up the racing. Are you ready, Texas, to get this rolling? No. I'm from Texas. You're from Texas. You're going to have to get louder. Are you ready?
Is that all you got?
You know they're going to see Pro Lights, Pro 2s, Pro 4s. We've got some of the best from all around the country. One final time. I want to hear you loud, proud for our TV cameras. Are you ready, Texas? All right, we're going to step aside for just a second. We'll come back with our top driver introductions right after this.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
When you take that checkered flag and you're standing top on the box, you're proud to have Amsoil on your shirt. But I tell you what, when you take that motor apart in the dyno room and you look at those bearings and you see how great they are, you're really proud of an Amsoil driver. And to be representing a team that has product that's that good.
As the fans still pulling their way into Texas Motor Speedway dirt track here at Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by Amsoil, Robbie Floyd, Scott Rain, and we'll hear Kate Osborne, the newest addition
Hopefully,
to our trio here in just a little bit. That's where the problem we were having with the microphone. But let's talk about the races and the racers we're going to be seeing this afternoon or this evening. The Pro Lights will be our first race of the night. Now, everything that's happened previous has just been qualifying or practice to get up to this point. The Pro Lights will be the first race we see. How are they different than the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s?
Well, they're a smaller chassis, standardized chassis, 12 inches of travel in the front, 16 in the rear, a crate motor, sealed transmission. You really can't do a lot to the mechanics of the truck, but it's all about the setup. So it's a very equal field to start with. It's just a pure driver's class. Right around probably 500 horsepower, maybe a little bit more. But they're all, like I say, they're all sealed, so it's very well controlled. You can't even touch the transmission or tear it apart. It's tagged. You can't do any kind of repairs. It has to go to a special transmission shop, race transmission shop, to be taken care of, and then shipped back to the race teams. So it's a stepping stone, if you want to call it that. Some of the guys come out of the sportsman classes, some of the buggy classes, into a Pro Light. And right now, tonight, we'll be watching some of the drivers that were former champions in that Pro Light class, now in Pro 2 and Pro 4.
So now Pro 2-wheel drive. You'll notice a discernible difference between the note that the engine makes. Very, very different than the Pro Light. Although they're both loud, the Pro 2 sounds a whole lot meaner. And you might have heard that same engine
Very
maybe behind us on the
song.
1.5 miles.
Yeah. Now, Pro 2 is a full-size truck, two-wheel drive, 900 horsepower, 18 inches of travel in the front.
What? You said 900 horsepower?
900 naturally aspirated horsepower. 18 inches of travel in the front, 20 in the rear. And like you said, the sweet sound, that note that comes out of these things is absolutely astounding. Guaranteed, very much, if not more so, than what you hear behind us. That's Pro 2.
In the Pro 2-wheel drive, we'll get to see the defending champion, C.J. Greaves, on his Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota come out here and represent. We'll see him in two classes tonight. We got to see a little last year in the Pro 4-wheel drive in Crandon, Wisconsin, where CJ stepped up into 4s. We get to see him in the 2s and 4s tonight.
Yeah, he's just a young guy. He's a former champion in Pro Light, this year running Pro 2 and Pro 4. But we have a couple of guys doing that. We've got Doug Matag, who was second in points last year in Pro Light. He's actually running in Pro Light again, but also stepped up in a brand new Pro 2, and then he'll be debuting that tonight.
So the Pro Light, them just a moment, kind of the lesser horsepower wheel drives of this class. They will be the first race you see out here tonight, but we're going to get a little taste of all three of our classes here in just a second. Tonight you'll witness the absolute battle amongst three classes in Torc trucks. Pro Light 500 horsepower rear-wheel drive race trucks. Introducing our top contenders in Pro Light from Temecula, California, driving for COD and Excel Off-Road, number 81. How about it, ladies and gentlemen, for Doug Matag.
Our next driver to come out on the track, he comes from Loveland, Colorado.
As Doug makes his way around what will not be used in this portion except for entering that front straightaway one more time. How about it coming down that front straightaway, 81, Doug Matag. You'll see him a little bit later, ladies and gentlemen, our first race of the night.
Our next driver comes from Loveland, Colorado. He is a former U.S. Marine himself, racing for Pack Race Springs and Kenda Tire, the number 27 of Doug Matag.
Or Sean Morris, whichever one comes first, as Sean makes his way down the front straightaway. No, it's nervous times here. Oh, I thought he was wanting to do a donut. Get a good look of him. Oh, yeah, he's a good-looking man. He won our last race of the year at Crandon, didn't he?
There was no one more excited than this guy right here doing a little freestyle action himself. This is all about the fans. These guys are doing it for them.
I thought he was going to do push-ups there for a second, getting back to his old Marine days.
Doing his own version of Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, I think.
And the third one of our Pro Lights, a guy you'll look for tonight from Ogden, Iowa, driving for Team Liquid Rich, number 21, Cam Reimers.
Now this is the kid right here. Is the most Californian Iowan I've ever met.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, when you meet him, it will.
does.
Trust me, man. He's probably one of the more excitable kids back. I'm going to say kids, but one of the most excitable kids back in the pits. You're going to have a fun watching that kid race tonight.
Yeah, the guy that came from four wheels, but it was actually quad racing. Now he's in the four-wheel short course off-road truck racing world. So those are three of the guys that you will look for in the Pro Light division. Let's step it up just a notch. How about the Pro two-wheel drive, 900 horsepower, rear-wheel drive trucks? Easy for me to say. Introducing the 2014 champion in Pro two-wheel drive from Abrams, Wisconsin, driving for Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota, the 33 of C.J. Greaves.
This young man right here is beyond the years of his driving experience in just knowledge, skill. It's incredible what this kid comes up with. You and I think he has engine problems, some sort of problems with the truck. He starts to slow. He just takes it easy. Now check this out. How's about that for a little freestyle? Salute the crowd here in Texas, C.J. Greaves.
People are probably wondering, why was he going so slow? I can tell you right now, he's saving the motor, saving the equipment, and having a good time. Next up from Crandon, Wisconsin, driving for Traxxas, the number 7 of Keegan Kincaid. As you see CJ work his way out, Keegan works his way in. Instead, I think they're going to send out our bachelor. That could possibly be the case. For those of you locals, might have seen him on the ABC affiliate Channel 8 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We call him the Bachelor. He's on the number 25, representing that gunk entry. How about it for Ari Lyondike Jr.? Oh, I hear a lot of ladies screaming. They're like... He also comes from the IndyCar world. He's been time and won an actual Indy Lights race and raced in the Indianapolis 500. And now he's racing at Texas Motor Speedway on the half mile.
Yeah, I think he's liking the transition from IndyCar to off-road. Ari Lyondike Jr. set up and ready for having a little bit of fun tonight. But now, let's have a little bit more fun. We talked about that song. That note, be ready to hear for probably the most beautiful sound in all of motorsports. From Deep Pier, Wisconsin, it's a 900 horsepower Toyota Pro 4-wheel drive. He is the father of the young C.J. Greaves, the 22 Monster Energy Maxxis Tire Toyota of the 22 Johnny Greaves.
The 3-time and defending champion of Torc. As you see him, he's trying to get some laps in because he's going to be the last race of the night. The defending champion, Johnny Greaves, rolls over that finish line. His goal is to roll over that finish line first come the end of the night. A little block here in, I don't know what we call this, near the Alliance Airport. So those are your 3 classes that you'll see out there tonight. The Pro Lights, the Pro 2-wheel drives, and the Pro 4-wheel drives.
Our next truck on the track, he has been doing this forever. This is how he makes his living. He's got multiple desert wins and desert championship. Even more short course championships and wins. One of the most recognizable trucks and names in all of short course off-road. Driving for Amsoil, Bull Exhaust, and Walker Evans Wheels. From El Cajon, California, the 7 of Scott Douglas. And you just heard that sweet sound we like to talk about from Tulare, California. He is driving the KMC Wheels Amsoil Chris Kyle Memorial Pro 4. He is the 2-time Camping World Truck Series champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 11, Matt Crafton.
That's what I'm talking about, and I promise you, he's been the fastest in Texas in a truck than anybody. The guy flat out knows how to win in the Camping World Truck Series, the two-time defending back, the only guy to ever go back-to-back championships in the Camping World Truck Series. It's good to see a little NASCAR flavor in with the Torc Series here tonight. So as the drivers head back, we also get ready for the race of the night. Just to let you know, each class, actually the first class we'll see tonight, the Pro Lights, will be racing for 18 laps. The Pro two-wheel drives and the Pro four-wheel drives will race in 20 laps. But in Torc the Off-Road Championship, there's a little different feel, although NASCAR may feel that that's the case. A certain yellow will come out at the halfway point.
Well, you're talking about the competition yellow. It added a little strategy to the fact of the first half and second half of a race. Guys kind of like drive, I guess you could say conservatively, which is kind of like an oxymoron in off-road racing for the first half. Second half, it's pretty much all out. Every car's on the table. And we talk about MMA and Supercross. These guys will actually kind of take that half-breed kind of situation and beat on each other. These trucks are made to make contact. They're made to be tore apart. They're made to roll over and keep on going. And we saw that in practice this afternoon in Johnny Grease. He barrel rolled 4 times in Pro 4 practice, got back on its wheels, and the very next lap, lap of that practice session.
Yeah, and no hiccups whatsoever. That's what you got to do. You're a champion. You've been there. You've done it before. Johnny's done it 3 times before. The 3-time champion, the winningest Pro 4 champion that we have in our field here tonight. And look for the track to change throughout the night, especially in turn 1 and 2, as you would typically look at it and on the racetrack here, the dirt mile. 1 and 2 had one line early on in practice, the low line. They reworked it, and they brought the dirt from the top down to the bottom. Now, Johnny and CJ, I was talking to them, they said, man, I really would have liked to move it from bottom to top to try and help that cushion a little bit. Because just like you may see a sprint car race here or a late model race here, that cushion is going to change throughout the night. They're going to look for different traction. And sometimes, as you may know in dirt track racing, traction's not always a good thing. That can get you in trouble in a hurry.
Oh, especially in this sport with I go back to the tires, the deep lugs, the deep grooves in those things. When you get too much traction, it works on that motor. It works on that whole entire driveline, the transmission, the rear end gears, everything. It's actually just basically tearing them apart. And, you know, you got to be cautious. You want a little bit of slip in that transmission. You don't want a lot of tire spin sometimes, and sometimes you do. So you got to find that fine line. It's all in that crazy thing we call setup. Every one of these drivers has a notebook, just like in circle track racing of any team, where they take notes on the weather conditions, the temperatures, the barometric pressures, the track conditions, dirt, you know, what kind of dirt it was, clay, black dirt, whatever it may be. They take notes. And
you pointed out the first thing you saw is when these trucks were coming around, they were lifting the left front wheel. There's only one right-hand turn on this track, so it does look like a sprint car. There's only one right-hand turn. Maybe the most important, especially in the two-wheel drive trucks, because if you can't get a car, and you hear it in NASCAR, you hear it in IndyCar, they call it 2 different things. They say in NASCAR you'd hear a push. When you hear in IndyCar, it's understeer. It's the same. In a push situation, you can't get that front end to dive down and make that turn. You push outside the corner. And you see when they're making that right-hand turn, you've got an inner barrier, that red marker. But if you get push, it's taking you right into a concrete wall. So they need that back end to break around at some point, because that push will just get you into a wall.
Oh, they need that rotation. And when you talk about that push, it also breaks the speed, it breaks momentum, and it's basically back up, make that rotation for the next straightaway, and basically drag race in the corner and get all that acceleration and momentum back.
On the other hand, when you build a car or a truck in a looser situation, so you can swing it around, it's almost like a skating rink, and it's like your freestyle Willie out there just doing donuts. You have to control it. These guys are professionals, whether they're in the lights, the two-wheel drive, or the four-wheel drive. They're professionals. They've been there. They've done that. Although this is the first race of the season, a lot I think in Iowa, but only so much testing can be had with these guys.
You know, we talk about the race trucks. Well, right now I want to take a look. Everyone off in turn 3 and 4 of the oval. You see a little different look on the truck. It's actually our pace truck tonight. It's the Chris Kahn Memorial Benefit raffle truck, I guess. They're going to be raffling it off next weekend at the benefit. And I guess it's for a 1-year lease for that truck right there, and we're using it as a pace truck tonight. And right now you can go to chriskahnmemorialbenefit.com to register for your chance to get that truck.
All right, I see the trucks lined up. I see the pro lights. They are the first race of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to get the green flag going, but first we have to hear firing up. Ladies and gentlemen, the famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines! Oh, that's a beautiful sound as they fire them up in that tunnel and head out. The first drivers might not necessarily be our top qualifiers of the day. They have an inversion, as we'll talk about that. They're going to start out in single file. They'll pair up and make one lap around this track. The next time around, we should go green.
As they come out here to introduce themselves to your crowd for the first time, this is their warm-up lap. We should be going green flag racing next time by, I'm sorry, 2 laps from now. The first truck on the track, that red one, he comes from Appleton, Wisconsin, driving the Nissan number 29, the Cooper Tire Amsoil Flying Dutchman entry of Chad Rayford.
You might have heard of this boy before. He's been fast. His daddy was fast. The Torc Series champion, Ricky Johnson. His son on the Red Bull Undead Power Mastercraft Nissan with the Cooper tires, always strong out of Trabuco Canyon, California, LJ Luke Johnson.
The next truck on the track, he is that white and blue truck, driving the number 43 from Paris, Ontario. Driving for Sleeco Plastics, Arturo Tires, Yukon Geared, and Aeromotive Thermotech. The 43 of Travis Dinsmore.
The 81 comes up next out of Temecula, California on the COD Excel Off-Road Cooper Tire Ford. That is Doug Matag.
And he's been gone for a few years. Both him and his dad, they are back now after about a 3-year hiatus. From Columbia, Louisiana, driving the Maxxis Tire number 41, Kyle Hart.
We already saw 21 on the Liquid Wrench Radar Tire Machine in the Ford, Cam Reimers.
This driver wants going. We heard from him just earlier from Loveland, Colorado. The Kenda Tire Pack Spray Springs Amsoil entry. The 27 of Sean Morris.
Out of Sydney, Montana on the Maxxis Tire Toyota Tundra. On the Lunderby Trucking Machine, that's Jake Lunderby in the 55.
You've heard of JJ Jimmy Johnson. Well, here's his younger brother from El Cajon, California. Driving the Husqvarna Chevrolet. The 15, Jarrett Johnson.
The Falcon Tires entry on the Nissan out of Denair, California, Bobby Runyon.
And finally from Harlan, Wisconsin, the Ponzi Force Equipment Kenda Tire, number 4, Jason Janis. We're going green.
Look like a good jump from the 43, Travis Dinsmore. He's trying to stick a nose on the inside. Boy, the lighting should be perfect for these guys. The weather, it is perfect. We fired up. I see Bobby Runyon trying to work his way in there, but our leader now trying to separate from the field.
And you can see Chad Rayford. Oh, Chad Rayford contact. Travis Dinsmore out the lead. Travis Dinsmore's actually running fog lights on the front of his truck.
And you see the log jam coming into that one right-hand turn. The 14 was on that far inside. Luke Johnson, he started second. He's worked his way back to about 4th or 5th. Luke's got to get on it, trying to find out, is the low line faster? Is the high line faster? The 43's out in front. Travis Dinsmore trying to pull away in second. Chad Rayford out of Appleton, Wisconsin on the 29. As the drivers you see on that back straightaway, they're nose-diving in. They've got to be on the throttle to keep that front end up. If they're chopping the throttle, the front end's going to drive, and it could get ugly in a hurry. You see that logjam again, diving into that right-hand turn. There's only one right-hander, but it is the most important turn, I believe, on this track. Back to the 41 of Kyle Hart out of Columbia, Louisiana, that ready lift dive. Oh, and Luke Johnson coming loose a little bit. But you're seeing the 81 of Doug Matag started in 4th, currently out in front of that COD machine. Back in 3rd place is Matag. So he moved up 1 position. Dinsmore, Rayford, Matag, Hart, and Morris, your top 5.
couple of new names that are not usually running up front are up there right now. Mainly is Travis Dinsmore. He was on the podium in the last race last year at Crandon, but specifically right now Chad Rayford running in that second spot. He'll go wide coming out of turn 5. Doug Mateg goes inside. They're side by side. Mateg has the spot, but how about Rayford not giving up on the outside?
He's holding his ground, holding that outside lane. You don't want to give up too much inside here, and that's the case. He tries harder inside turn on the 29. Rayford looking strong, although he's dropped back to third place. Now he gives up the inside. Look, Matag dives under. He's going to take position and moves up one more spot. Matag started fourth. Now he's in second.
But here comes Rayford right back to the inside. Rayford pushing to the outside. Oh, how about that? Matag hangs on, makes the pass to the outside, and now pulling away.
That's because he had Big Mo on his side. And remember, you just need to be in a position you want to be at the halfway point. We're going to have a competition caution at the 10th lap. So 4 laps down to this one. We still got plenty more racing to go.
A little bit further back in the pack, some great battles going on. Here comes Sean Morris now. Inside Chad Rayford. Sean Morris, the former Marine, he wanted to make sure everybody knew that he served our country. Oh, how about that? Kyle Hart up on 2 wheels. A nice battle about a lap ago between Luke Johnson and Kyle Hart.
Last year we started in Primm, Nevada, the first stop on Torc the Off-Road Championship. This year in Texas, our leader right now finished 17th last year. So, I mean, basically last in this field. Now he's out in front. It's crazy how the reversal of fortune from one year to the next. But again, he's got to keep it on all 4 wheels the entire 18 laps.
Oh, and it looks like Jarrett Johnson's pulling off the track, heading into the hot pitch. You saw him go down the tunnel.
Looks like Hart maybe trying to stick a nose in there, trying to get by. You see the 41 diving in. He's on the outside, but that's going to set him up on the inside on the next turn. Let's see if Kyle Hart can make that pass stick. He's got to keep the driver to his outside. That's Rayford. Got to keep him wide.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 years ago. I watched Kyle Hart, probably one of the worst wrecks I've ever seen in short course off-road racing. Barrel rolled, I think it was 14 times before it finally came to a stop. But he's back out here racing. And how about Travis Dinsmore? But the problem is, look who's in second. That was our second place finisher in points last year, Doug Matag. He will pull up right on that back bumper for competition yellow.
Still races throughout the field. The 29 now starting to get the pressure from Luke Johnson. Maybe he set that truck up for later in the race. Problems earlier, and now he's starting to get a little gamey back there in that right-hand turn. You see him, the 4th truck in your picture on that blue and white truck. Johnson back in 6th place, trying to knock on 5th right now.
And in the picture right now, Sean Morris has pulled away from Kyle Hart a little bit on that last straightaway. Sean Morris has changed his driving style considerably over the last year and a half or so, got much more aggressive.
And now it looks like Johnson is going to make that pass into 5th.
And, oh, man, it's Matag!
Right in front of him here. We'll catch him on screen. Matag goes down. The driver who was in 2nd goes over, gets back on his wheels. Now he's racing side by side with Kyle Hart.
Now that's exactly what these trucks were made to do. It looks like it should be parked. Look at the fiberglass damage. Again, that's only skin. So these trucks are made to do this. Look how right now the body panels are absolutely peeling off the side of that truck.
How about Hart working his way up through the field? Now you see Luke Johnson going underneath the Matag as well. Johnson's going to have position. I think Johnson's starting to get faster and faster as this race goes on. But I think the guy that's impressed me the most that's not in the lead, Hart, the next lap around, we should get that competition caution. Kyle Hart started in 5th. He's in 3rd. You look at Sean Morris, who's currently in 2nd. He started back in 7th. Both of these guys have worked their way through the field.
Yeah, Luke Johnson fell back. He started in the front row but fell back. So like you say, as the track dries up, I think he has to come back, and he'll be working his way towards the front. There's the competition yellow. Our Chris Kyle Memorial pace truck will pull onto the track. He'll collect the field, and once again, something's going on.
Oh, look at Cam Reimers.
Matag is falling back.
Cam went for the dive bomb there, and Matag able to hold him off for one more turn. And they'll reset the field after this. So 9 laps down, 9 more still to go. What do you think about it, Texas? You like Torc the Off-Road Championship? All right, let's take a look at what happened with Doug Matag. Look at him. You can see him rolling over there. Unfortunately for him, he rolled back on his wheels. I don't think he ever let off the throttle.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be damage We can't see underneath that fiberglass. Even though it looks just catastrophic right now with that body peeling off, he's still moving, but I think there's damage to the left front as he's falling back to, what, sixth spot.
All right, it looks like we have an update on our third-place driver, Kyle Hart, in the 41. Kate Osborne has more.
Well, it's another family affair for Kyle Hart and Marty Hart today. I got a chance to talk with them today, and I found Kyle Hart more at Marty Hart's pit. It was really interesting to hear their take on working together and being able to have advice given from Marty to Kyle. He's really excited to get in that car and show what he can do.
Thanks a lot, Kate. It is kind of funny when you look at Marty Hart. He won the Pro Light here in Texas before, and now you get to see Kyle in that truck. So he said, I've been here. I've done it. Do you want any advice from me? I've got it. I'm a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, we see Kyle, the son on the track right now. His dad, Marty's actually teamed up with Chad Horde, who runs a pro. So kind of, even though they're right next to each other in a family, but they're across the picture now racing for different teams.
All right, you see nose to tail. We're going to start them off. Dinsmore, Morris, Hart, Johnson, and this is for all the marbles. 9 down, 9 more to go, and we started in Pro Light once again.
And Travis Dinsmore held him all the way up to the flag stand. As you look on the track, you see orange cones. He can start the race anytime he wants between the two cones.
LJ going on the inside. Luke Johnson got a great start. I saw Matag dive to the inside. I don't believe they can make a pass or get out of line until they cross that flagging stand. So they're going to take.
Went way outside. Gave up the position just for a split second. Oh, man, there is a train wreck going on right there. From second on back, they're taking out the inside course marker as well.
A lot of new bumpers that are not anymore going nose to tail into a turn. That right-hander's tough. You're seeing Travis Dinsmore trying to pull away. He had his best time as a 40.314, so he's been strong, been the fastest one of the night, it looks like.
It looks like Doug Matag now has another problem. He was battling for the lead at one point, but now he may have vision problems further back in the pack. You see the entire hood flapping up in front of the windshield area.
If you can't see where you're going, it's hard to race. Luke Johnson dropping back a spot to fourth. Thought he had third just a moment ago. Kyle Hart moves back into that third spot, which we saw him on that initial start out of the competition caution. Sean Morris holding that inside line. You see the difference in line. Morris on that inside as we're looking at the 21. Cam Reimer's going underneath trying to make a pass.
Dinsmore just loved that outside line. It looks like he's going, well, obviously he is going the long way around, but the thing is, when he gives up in the corners, he makes up for traction coming out of the turn. As we look right now, our early leader, you see Cam Reimer's right now battling with, let's see, who is that? That's Chad Rayford. Rayford's now had smoke coming out of the right rear of that truck. It looks like it's maybe a rear main seal or something going on. It doesn't look like it's anything engine-wise. There's definitely a right rear problem on Chad Rayford's truck.
Were you in the Navy? Because you know your seals. Where did that come from? I'm like, it might be his rear seal. I'm like, that's good. You could go mechanic on me.
I've been here.
Been around there.
Yeah.
Right. You're seeing the smoke come out of that entry. Still Travis Dinsmore. About a 1.3 second differential between himself and Sean Morris. Kyle Hart in third, Luke Johnson fourth, Cam Reimers in fifth, Chad Rayford sixth, Matag, Lunderby, Bobby Runyon Jr. in ninth now, and Jason Janis in 10th, rounding out the field, Jared Johnson, the 15th.
And Jared Johnson actually back on the track, spent about 2 laps, maybe 3 in the hot pits. No idea what the problems of that race truck, but he's back out running for points. That's actually Jesse Johnson's truck, his younger brother. So Jesse broke his hand a while back. He's had 3 surgeries, I believe. He's not able to drive, so his older brother, Jarrett, now behind the wheel. Younger brothers of Jimmy Johnson.
We see a dive into that first turn, first and second. Hart may have the pass this time. Look at this. A pass into second. Kyle Hart looks like he has it. He can do whatever he wants in that straightaway. Does he have enough time? 13 laps complete. Travis Dinsmore out in front, but Hart, look at Hart on the inside.
Dinsmore keeps going to that outside line in that left-hand turn. Goes way to the outside, up on that banking, trying to find traction. Again, he's going to be opening up that door time and time again. One of these times, Hart has got to be able to get around to the inside. Again, Dinsmore goes to the outside, Hart on the inside, but Dinsmore has the traction as they come out of the turn 4 of the oval.
4 laps to go in this one. Travis Dinsmore on the 43, but he's got a Kyle Hart under. Kyle Hart is getting a good drive on that inside. We've got people watching around the world. There goes Kyle Hart. Can he do it? I would go outside right now. Take that inside line going into the right. That's exactly what he does.
It was just a matter of time. And the thing is, the guy's got spotters on this racetrack as well up in the stands.
Oh, on two wheels.
Backstretch.
Hart almost goes over. He saves it, but he's still holding on to third.
And now Dinsmore up on two wheels.
Oh, it's getting good now. 3 laps to go. Hart trying to hold off the 27 of Morris. Luke Johnson's got a great seat, but he wants to get up there and get his first podium of the year here in Texas.
And that's right there. That's Bach coming here, turn 2 of the oval. That's for Sean Morris. And Sean Morris is slowing.
Morris is
slowing.
LJ takes advantage. Looks like he might have lost a gear, and he gets it back in gear.
Yellow flag. There's a yellow flag out.
Oh, no. So you see the driver in the right-hand turn cannot identify which one that is. We'll try and get a camera shot. So one driver in that right-hand turn with only, about 2 laps remaining. I thought the field was plenty tight in Pro Light. It's going to get even a couple of laps left.
Jason Janis going by right now. We still have no idea. Oh, it's the 55. That's actually Jake Lunderby.
Correct.
Yeah, this is his first race. He was doing very well. That's the former CJ Greaves Pro Light. So that's a very stout vehicle right there.
So 2 laps left. We're already losing our voices. We had a race to the finish right there, those top 3, and you threw Luke Johnson. Now, I'm not sure when the yellow flag comes out. In a lot of times, a lot of these situations, we'll have a green-white checker for you NASCAR fans. You're used to that. We're going to have a green-white checkered. But typically, when you line them up, you go back to the last green flag lap. Did Luke have that pass before the last green flag lap?
Now we're watching Lunderby. It looks like he's going to crawl back into his truck, see if he can fire it up. But here's the problem.
Smoke.
That truck has been up. Yeah, that truck's been upside down for a long time. All the fluids that are supposed to be in the engine block are now have flowed to the top part, which is the heads, the carburetor, the intake. That's where all the fluids are now. So if he can fire it up, you're going to see this thing get smogged out real quick.
It'll definitely look like Bill Cosby and the dentist chair. Smubbock, smubbock. Now, what kind of smoke will it be? Will it be the death smoke? That's what you see. And a lot of times they don't want it to fire back up. They want to go ahead and make a few rotations, so they'll leave the ignition switch off and just turn over the motor just a little bit. So you see the yellow flag out. The next time around is Travis Dinsmore in the lead on the 43. Kyle Hart in third, Luke Johnson in fourth. We will get a green-white checkered. You see our flagger down there signifying one more lap around before we fire this up here in the Pro Light Final.
I really, really, really got to call out Travis Dinsmore. What a great race he's run. He was fast from the very first time get-go. I mean, it's almost a kid that just learned how to ride a bike. He's struggling, trying to figure out how to balance on 2 wheels, and then all of a sudden, boom, a light goes off, and he's figured it out.
His best finish of the year was last year's last race. He finished second. So he's really picking up right where he left off. Let's go down to Kate Osborne, who has more on Kate Reimers.
Cam Reimers this season as he joins Ari Leyendyke Racing. He was saying earlier today that he's really excited to be working with Ari Leyendyke Racing. He says they come from 2 different spectrums of racing. Ari Leyendyke with all of the different races he's done, and him with all of his motocross and dirt racing. It's really cool to see them work together, and I think he's really excited to be with him for the season.
I think you're right, Kate. And I called him Kate Reimers, but of course his name is Cam Reimers, and I think that helps both drivers. Ari with the way that he drives in the lines, Cam more the shock setup and stuff, because Ari's used to an inch or 2 of travel. He's used to feet of travel on the off-road side.
Yeah, and then you throw not just the experience but the personalities. It's such a weird blend, and you've got dare I say a pretty boy kind of atmosphere or aura about him. He's very, very popular with the women, obviously. And then you got Cam, who's just this goofy kid from Iowa, always smiling, always having fun. And you kind of get those two together, and often that's just vinegar and oil.
I agree. Just been told we actually have 3 laps to go because they go back to that last completed lap. So a green, white checkered. So 3 laps remaining in this Pro Light class. Let's talk about these guys and ever winning before in Torc, the Off-Road Championship. What about Dinsmore? Ever won before in a race that you've called in Torc?
No, okay. He's never won.
So what about Kyle Hart? Ever won before in a Torc race? No?
Not in
Torc.
What
about Sean Morris?
Sean Morris, he has won once.
Been there. He's done that. So he knows what it's like.
He's won the big show at Crandon, the Labor Day weekend race.
Right, last year.
And that was a celebration of all celebrations. So emotional.
Luke Johnson in fourth. He won in a buggy many times before, but not in pro lights, or has he won in pro lights before? Right?
Nope.
So Cam Reimer's rounding out our top 5, the guy you look for in that liquid wrench yellow truck.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
No smoke at all.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I hope he's got food in that truck.
He's doing a shakedown. Yeah, he does. He's doing a little shakedown. Oh, you know what? He might have AMSOIL in it. That might have been why it didn't smoke.
Jeremy's been giving you a big old
Jeremy
this race.
Meyer. Yeah. I wonder how that AMSOIL Arena Cross doing. I just wonder. All right, now, you talked about lights on some of the trucks. You see our leader right now, Travis Dinsmore, with the headlights, something you may be seeing off-road as some of these guys may head to Baja
Not in
this
short
weekend.
course.
But in short course, what's up with that?
You know what? Why not try it? Maybe it's a sponsor situation. Who knows? Maybe it's
Maybe.
But the thing is, it can't hurt. Why not try it? If it works, it works. But
The Slico's looking good. I mean, he's out there. He's got those Richard Petty, number on his truck. The Slico entry, the VP Fuels get in there.
What a great group
Arturo
of guys.
Tires. First time we've seen them, a sponsor of Torc, the Off-Road Championship. That'll be the first time we see that tire also win if he can keep it out in front of the 43.
Absolutely. And they're out of Ontario, Canada. They got to get the award for the longest tow. They're here this weekend.
And he's out in front, eh?
Exactly. How do you spell Canada? CANADA.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Here we go. Let's look for that green flag. Here we go, Texas. Green means go. You know what it means. 3 laps to go. Now it's time to start them up. A good jump by third and fourth. It looks like Luke's going for a little push on Sean Morris.
Oh, man, here we go. The track's getting rough. Travis Dinsmore hooked the rut, had to go to the outside. We got a brand-new leader, Kyle Hart, up front.
And Johnson goes to the inside there. He moves into third. Johnson might move into second.
Dinsmore up on 2 wheels. He goes from first to about 6th in 1 turn.
Crazy first to worst almost. Oh, and on 2 wheels again is Kyle Hart. I'm telling you, LJ Luke Johnson has been one of the faster racers the back half of this race. Is it tire setup? You're seeing next time around green. Then the following lap, we'll see the white flag signifying last lap. Right out in front. Hart, Johnson, and
Luke Johnson. He's eyeballing our leader, Marty Hart, right now. The track in turn 1 and 2 is rutted up. You can see these trucks dancing over the ruts. And they get hit. They hit the rut, they're forced up in the air and go to the outside, so they're losing positions. How they handle these ruts will decide or win without a doubt. Luke Johnson up on 2 wheels. He saves it. Here comes Sean Morris.
Now he's got to get it going around, and he's going to have the inside the next time around. No doubt about it. The 41's going to come across. And what first race of the night out of Louisiana, Kyle Hart. Oh, one more white. Sorry, white flag out now. Kyle Hart still got 1 more lap to go. Luke Johnson, that Cooper Tire entry in second. I thought that was the checker to the whiteout on this lap. So this is the last lap of Torc the Off-Road Championship in the lights class. Morris getting a lot of pressure from Dinsmore back in third.
And he's pulled away in the last lap and a half. Sean Morris with 2 turns remaining. I guarantee he's going after Luke Johnson right now with 2 turns remaining. And maybe less. Yes, it looks like it's going to be Kyle Hart hanging out for the lead, coming out of the final corner, bouncing to the ruts, taking the first win of the first race of 2015. The Maxxis Tire 41 of Kyle Hart.
Maxxis represented in a big way, taking the first win of the 2015 season. Luke Johnson in second. Sean Morris as they continue to race across the finish line. Morris, the final spot on the podium. Dinsmore was out in front at the halfway point, not able to hold on in fourth. Cam Reimers in fifth. Chad Rayford, the man who got the whole shot early, in sixth. Bobby Runyon works his way up to seventh. Doug Matag, with all his problems, finishes in eighth. Jason Janis in ninth. Jake Lunderby in 10th. And Jared Johnson in 11th. How about that Maxxis 41 taking the first win of the year?
To be totally honest with you, if we were to predict before the race, which we probably could have done, I wouldn't have picked Kyle Hart just because we haven't seen him in the series for a couple of years. Brand new a truck with these tires that haven't been tested. His dad not teamed up with him anymore, now with a different team, and kind of by himself. So I didn't expect this out of Kyle. He's got the ability, the talent, but I didn't expect it to happen this fast.
Yeah, Marty Hart won the Torc Series race held here back in May of 2009. So 6 years later, the boy does it. We'll get to see him come across this front straightaway. Our top three, we'll get an interview from them. You see Kate Osborne. And again, we do not only the interviews for the live event, but also the web, but also our Fox Sports show as well. So every time you get to hear Kate and you see these guys out there, show them some love, and what a great time you've had at Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Well, that was an eventful 18 laps. I'll guy who was out in front of the halfway for 3/4 of this one who won it. It was a battle of attrition, and sometimes being hooked up is not always a good thing. And we saw that was the case with Travis Dinsmore.
Oh, there's Kyle's mom right there.
Mama's happy, and you know the son's happy, and Kate's down on the trackside. How about it, Texas?
Congratulations, your first victory in Pro Lights. To start, what happened on that restart? Walk us through.
Well, I got to the lead at first, and then I biked, and then the second on the restart, and he just went to the outside and made a mistake in the turn, and I was able to slip underneath him and then take off from it with there.
What does this win mean to you?
Oh, this is a great way to open the season. You know, it's just good momentum to come in and get the win for the team. Me and my dad, we had an accident with it. Get it back here, and even be here, it's great, and especially to be up here on top.
What kind of influence has your dad given you, especially in this kind of truck?
Yeah, I mean, we built me a practice truck before the season even started, and that was a couple of years ago to get me up to speed. And I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am without him and all the help of my sponsors, Maxxis, Walker, Rigid, MSD, K&N, just everyone that's behind me. Thanks a lot.
All right, Kyle, congratulations.
Thank you.
So the celebration continues down there. A proud moment, a proud family moment. And, you know, I've got sons that race go-karts and play baseball and stuff, and I know that has to be probably even more special for Marty than it is for Kyle.
Oh, yeah, it was. Well, you know, Marty took the effort, took the time to run down to the podium to congratulate his son, give him a big hug, because he's got to jump on that scooter now and run back into the staging, because this race is coming up in just a few minutes. So Kyle Hart, congratulations. But, man, now we could be seeing history tonight with Marty at Pro 2 in just a moment.
So Kyle Hart takes the win. Let's send it down to Kate. And we talked about the proud pop. I promise you, there's a proud Ricky Johnson in California right now, seeing his son work his way up through the pack. Luke Johnson finishes second. How about it, Texas?
Luke, congratulations on that second place finish. You were saying a couple of days ago you didn't even know if you were reading in the truck. Why is that?
I'm a little overwhelmed with emotion, but I had a couple sponsors fall out, and Cooper Tires stepped up huge for me to be able to be here. And 7 days before this race, I thrashed to get this truck done, and there's so much that's wrong with it, but I cannot believe that I made it up onto the box, and these guys did an amazing job here getting Texas Motor Speedway ready for us, and I had a great time racing against Kyle and Sean. So, I mean, I'm so thankful for being here in the series we're putting on. I'm thankful for all the fans here in Texas, Red Bull, Undead Power. I'd like to thank Sean Morris for giving me a pit last minute, and the Matag family for hot pitting for me if I needed it. So I love this community out here at Torc. They came together to help me get here, and I can't wait to push on the rest of the season with Cooper Tire.
All right, Luke, congratulations.
Thank you.
You could see him starting to get emotional as well. Again, we talk about the father-son relationship with the Harts. The same thing for the former Pro 4 champion and Pro 2 champion as well, Ricky Johnson, who's watching California. Hopefully I get to work with Ricky for the Fox Sports Show. And RJ, a champion in his own right. I promise you, he was yelling at the TV screen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And with that last picture you saw, those two guys in that picture, it's just the two of them working on that race truck this weekend. It's just the two of them that towed all the way here from Southern California.
You heard all the people that was having to make this event possible. I mean, there are a lot of people behind the scenes, and you heard Matag. These guys are helping me with the hot pit. If he has a falter, they have to go outside the track here, work on the truck, and bring it back out. A lot goes on behind the scenes.
Without a doubt. I mean, some teams, dare you say, are top-notch. So they got one transmission guy, that's all he's responsible for. One engine guy, that's all he's responsible for. Suspension, shocks. Some of these guys, many of the guys don't have that luxury. Luke Johnson being one of them.
Luke had two guys helping him out, and it was good enough for a podium here. A guy that I think we can expect to be up front fairly often in Torc, the Off-Road Championship. Now let's go over to one more time to Kate. She's got a very happy Sean Morris, the final guy on that podium.
I have a very happy Sean Morris here. Congratulations, third place here. You battled a lot there tonight. What was working for you?
We kept trying to run a high line, try to get up on there, and just keep your momentum going. That's the biggest thing around here. Get rotations, and just try to stay with it. Luke got a good win on me. I tried to come back on it, but man, what a battle! It's just so awesome. It's a really great race.
Awesome! Congratulations, Sean. We'll see you in St. Louis.
Thank you. I'd like to first and foremost thank Kinda Tires. They came on with me this year. They stepped up huge. Them and Pack Springs and Amsoil. Thank you very much for everything you guys do. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Congratulations again.
Shows you the strength of our field as Sean comes across in third on his Kinda tires. We see Luke Johnson on Cooper tires, and we see the Maxxis on Hart. So 3 tires represented on our podium tonight. That's pretty good.
Yeah, talk about parity, and that's actually the Kinda tire representative down there. He was actually working the tires himself about 3 hours ago, grooving tires. You don't see that out of the Kinda salesperson. Well, once again, that completes 1/3 of our racing tonight. We'll take a break real quick. We'll come back.
All right, so we'll have more of Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. We're at Texas Motor Speedway. 1 race down. We still have 2 more to go. Stay with us.
Horsepower isn't just for NASCAR. It's for your car. It's for off-road and the on-ramp. You need it when you're drifting. You want it when you're passing. Get more of it with a K&N high-flow air filter, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow. Because whether your green light flashes here or here, everyone loves that fast car smell. Horsepower isn't just for NASCAR. It's for your car. It's for off-road and the on-ramp. You need it when you're drifting. You want it when you're passing. Get more of it with the K&N high-flow air filter, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow. Because whether your green light flashes here or here, everyone loves that fast car smell.
As the drivers prepare to exit the track, we talk about 1 down, 2 more to go. I was testing out some. You come to Texas, you got to have what? At a concession stand, you have to have nachos. And I just tested them, and they're pretty good. They're delicious at Texas Motor Speedway. Hey, I want to remind everybody also, right next to the concession stand, the shirts and the merchandise for Torc the Off-Road Championships down there as well. So.
Really cool. I bought a couple. Seriously, I did on the way up here tonight, right before we started racing.
I saw you.
I was down there, yeah.
Yeah, so the merchandise stand is just below us here. Let everybody know, for those of you watching around the world, let everybody know what a great time you're having here. Also, hashtag Torc or hashtag Torc Series, those of you watching on TorcSeries.com for you Twitter and Facebook followers and Instagram. The anti-Scott. Scott has Facebook.
Pound sign.
Yeah, pound sign. Also want to remind everybody, and we're letting the people around the world in on this too, know is you're getting to watch the race, but you also get to meet the drivers after the race is over. Immediately following our race, BJ Birtwell told us that you can walk around the track and go meet the drivers, see the trucks up close. It's not a closed-off pit like you may see in other forms.
No walls, nothing like that.
And they do sign autographs after. I think they might line them up on the table, so they will have autograph signing immediately following the races tonight after our pro four-wheel drive. So leave the stands, get your tail around there. It takes, what, he say 4.5 minutes to walk?
That's what he said. He did. He timed it out. He
I
said
made it in 4.25,
yeah.
so I must be faster than BJ. But you see the fans. All right, guys, the drivers that are down there on the track, if you could go up there on the podium. I think they're going to take a few pictures for you up there. So drivers, if you would, please get up there to the 1, 2, and 3, respectively. Kyle Hart taking the win, his first in Torc. Luke Johnson, Sean Morris in third. That's your podium. And looking at, Morris, we talked about his win last year. I'm trying to find Johnson's best finish. All right, fans, they're down there. We're shooting it on for the cameras for the Fox Sports crew. How about a big round of applause for your top three? How about it for Sean Morris in third there getting his trophy? Luke Johnson in second. Kyle Hart with the victory.
Our next race coming up is a Pro 2. And a little bit of a cool side story going on right now in Pro 2s. Chad Horde had a huge problem in qualifying, blew the transmission to finish qualifying. And he's supposedly, I'm getting this from Facebook instant message right now from a fan in northern Michigan. He's telling me.
How does he know?
I don't know. The Youpers are really close up there.
They are,
I don't know. Everybody knows everybody.
You're a Youper at heart.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Don't tell my wife that. But Scott Thomas messaged me that Chad Horde is, I guess the crew is getting the transmission, everything taken care of. He'll be ready to hit the green flag. He'll be ready to go.
So it wasn't an engine. It was a tranny problem.
It was a transmission, yeah.
Gotcha.
Luckily, changed that to the transmission. But mainly, I want to give a shout-out to Scott Thomas and his young son, JT, who's 14 years old. They missed every race in the Midwest last year, and that's never happened before. He's a 14-year-old right now struggling with cancer, was not able to make any of the races last year. I guess he's doing pretty good right now. They're watching us on the World Wide Web. So, JT.
Hopefully we'll get to see him this year at Bark River or at Crandon.
Exactly. They're the Youpers. They'll be at Bark River without a doubt, and then maybe at Crandon Well, which is northern Wisconsin. So, Scott Thomas, JT, thanks a lot for watching in, and you better look us up, man.
Hey, and one thing to point out, and I know Texas is a long way from the UP, and believe me, seemed like it took me forever to get there all the times we went last year. But if you've never been to Bark River, if you've never been to Crandon, Wisconsin, you ought to go check it out. It is an experience. You're in like the land of the lost at Crandon last year. I mean, it is so packed, it is so crowded. It is great. It's like it has a Vegas vibe to it because it seems like anything goes, but what happens in Crandon stays in Crandon.
Oh, without a doubt. Oh, absolutely.
But as far as short course off-road truck racing, it's hard to beat either one of those. But actually, look at our whole series. If you happen to be in St. Louis, come and visit us there. Awesome. Sturgis last year, for the very first time, had some of the best racing we saw all year. And, yeah, there's a little motorcycle gathering going on at the same time as well.
Yeah, if you're a Harley guy, if you love going up to Sturgis, you missed it last year. You can still make it this year. The coolest part about Sturgis is what I'm not a biker, so I didn't know that's how things worked up there. They are allowed to go up to all these live concerts. You ride your bike right up to the edge of the stage, and you don't sit in the lawn seats. You don't sit in a chair. You sit on your bike for the entire concert. And this year at the Torc series, when we run at the Buffalo Chip, we're going to do it the same way. You pay your ticket to get in. You ride your bike right up to the fence, and you can sit on your bike and watch the entire afternoon's racing.
Yeah, that's great. And they did show up, and they did line up to watch the racing. More elevation changes than anywhere at Sturgis. It was kind of crazy how high they went up. Drop-offs, a lot of suspension loading that you normally don't have at some of the other racetracks.
Well, talk about that shotgun rifle gun range that's across the road from the racetrack.
That's not a gun. That's a cannon. They're shooting cannonballs.
That was crazy. While we're calling a race, there's you could pay like $50, $60, $70 or whatever, and all of a sudden we're hearing like AK's going off.
That's a cannon. Yeah, it's big time in Sturgis, and we'll be there for Torc the Off-Road Championship, and we'll be back for Torc the Off-Road Championship Texas style here at Texas Motor Speedway in just a moment. We've seen the Pro lights. We still have the Pro two-wheel drives. They're coming up next.
I'm professional drifter Ryan Turk, and I use VP fuels.
When I'm out there racing, God, I love the sound.
What Borla does with the sound of this exhaust, there's a linear relationship between what's going on in the engine to what's going on in the exhaust.
When I hear that engine scream and get above 6,000 RPM, it's the sound of power.
All you need to know is tune yourself to the exhaust. What a great product, well engineered.
This round of Torque, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, is brought to you by Gunk, by Maxxis, by BP Racing Fuels, and by K&N Filters. Welcome, everyone, to stop number one of Torque, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Love it when they pop back into us, and yeah, this microphone doesn't work behind it. Look like I'm a Martian there.
An ear scratcher.
Yeah. We look a little different than we did last year. You got your grandma glasses, and I got a microphone that goes backwards.
Yeah, the social medias.
Are they busting?
It can be a pretty cool thing, but sometimes not so much because I'm getting messages about taking off my glasses.
They want you to see.
With a few names attached to it. So thanks a lot, Don, for calling that out.
Look at me. I'm only 21 years old. I don't have good eyesight or here or there. And, I call the white flag as a checkered. That's my first mistake ever. No. It happens a lot. Robbie Floyd, Scott Rains.
They actually got that right. I mean, we're the ones that make mistakes, but the guys in the truck are getting it right.
Yeah. They have it right, and I do make a lot of mistakes. And one thing that I say, no matter what event I may cover around the world, everything I say is officially unofficial. I like to point that out, and we'll see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people behind the scenes going on right now, and we like to give a shout-out to them. And I'm not going to say any names, but I know that they're having a good time. A great first race to start off the season. I mean, that's the way you want to do it. It's our biggest race of the night, but sometimes numbers of entries aren't equivalent to great racing. Sometimes some of our smaller classes had the best racing.
It's ironic that you mentioned that because it's like one of the most entertaining races I saw was about 5 years ago in Las Vegas. There was carnage everywhere. It was basically off-road Armageddon. 2 trucks had survived the race, and 2 trucks were racing for the win. There's trucks on fire in the back corner. There's a truck smoking over there. But meanwhile, on the track was Mike Jenkins. They start just beating and banging, running over each other on purpose, trying to get to the front. 2 trucks for like 2 laps, and it was the coolest race I'd seen in almost 20 years of doing this.
Again, we'd like to thank our sponsors that help bring you Torque, the Off-Road Championship. People like Borla Exhaust, TireRack.com, KMC Wheels, and Kenda Tires. We already saw the Kenda entry on the podium tonight and the Pro Lights. We'll see if they can step it up again. Another spot, another rung on that ladder in the Pro 2-wheel drive.
Where'd that radio voice come from? Because
I don't know.
When you and I talk during the day, we're in drivers in, hang out, and we're in meetings of our own, and then tonight, all of a sudden,
it's the same voice.
Hi there, this is Robbie.
Yeah, I know, but I've kind of lost my voice already. The allergies getting to me here. These fans, they might have lost their voice. I could hear, we're pretty closed off in our booth here, but you could hear the crowd through the glass. I think we're less than 2 minutes till our Pro 2-wheel drive class set off into their parade lap. It's been a long time since they've been on the track, unless they were in that, opening ceremonies portion. But it was a long time ago, and the track has changed quite considerably since practice.
Since the first practice to right now, we are talking about polar opposites. This morning, I predicted the fact that these guys would just skate up to the wall, skid all over the place, absolutely zero traction. Actually, it was actually quite the opposite. You had these big, huge tires grabbing this heavy, heavy mud and just tearing these trucks apart.
I'm going to beef, Scott Rain. You stole my start list, and I was hunting all over. And with those good glasses, I thought you would have seen that. You thief, you. Yes, no, Hey, we have a lot of new sponsors for 2015 for some of the drivers out there. And also want to point out that we may not have all of those correct as well. But drivers, I'm sure they'll let us know. But a lot of new colors that we've seen. We've talked about a few of them, just like Cam Reimer's in that liquid wrench machine, but also in the Pro 2-wheel drive and the Pro 4-wheel drive this afternoon as well.
Yeah, CJ Greaves, he'll be coming out in 2-wheel drive in the Monster Energy Toyota. But in Pro 4, he'll be coming out in I want to say it's probably been 5, maybe 6 years since we haven't seen a non-black truck coming out of that pit area. So to see coming out here in blaze orange with a big, huge Maxxis logo on it, and that young kid behind the wheel of a Pro 4 Toyota is going to be kind of cool to see.
Yes, it will be. And we stepped it up a notch as well on the Pro 2-wheel drive. Instead of 18 laps, they'll get one more on the front and back competition column. So a 20-lap race for the 2-wheel drive, a 20-lap race for the Pro 4-wheel drive.
Hey, little guy, look at the jumbotron. Look out in the infield.
The video board.
You're on the camera, man.
Nice little guy in that purple shirt. Waving.
We were just looking at you.
Yeah, he waved.
There we
are.
Yeah, there's some fans. Now he's waking up.
Oh, that poor guy's slapping his buddy on the back of the head. You better watch out.
Look behind him. He's probably Instagram, something on his smart. Here we go.
Oh, rolling it out. Hey, this is an awesome track. I mean, how many half miles do you go to anywhere in the country that they have a tunnel entrance built quite like this one? It's unbelievable. I know Eddie Gossage. I've seen him to the right there. I know Eddie loves this place. I don't know his official title, but he's in charge of this entire facility. And he sees a lot of big races here in Texas. What, that Duck Commander race just a couple of weeks ago. Now they're Torc this week. The IndyCar come right after the Indianapolis 500. So thank you, Eddie, for bringing such a fine facility here.
Well, you mentioned about it before. You talked about the tone, that sweet song of the V8s. First chance of listening to 900 horsepower on the track. Here's our lineup for tonight's Pro 2 race. On the front row pole, out of Crandon, Wisconsin. Driving the Cooper tire, Traxxas entry number 7, Keegan Kincaid.
The 81 out of Temecula, California on the John Lynn Racing Team JRT Cooper tires. Ford, that's Doug Matag.
And this is what we were talking about just a few moments ago from Abrams, Wisconsin. Driving the number 33, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tire Toyota, the 33 of C.J. Greaves.
We've seen one Hart win tonight. Will we see another? The number 9 out of Louisiana on the Systems Control, AMSOIL, Maxxis Tire Ford. This time, Hart.
Next row back out of Scottsdale, Arizona, the Sweetheart, the number 25, driving the Gunk entry, the Cooper tire, number 25 of Ari Lyon.
Oh, Sweetheart. The 91 out of San Diego, California on the Tyree Motorsports Maxxis Tire Ford. That's Nick Tyree.
And first time on the track with a brand new Pro 2 from Pro Light to 900 horsepower from Colorado Springs, driving the AMSOIL number 44, Brad Lovell.
20-lap main event. Green means go. We'll see who can get this start. Will it be the 7 on the inside? Keegan Kincaid with a large jump. CJ with a good jump on that second row as well.
And Doug Matag looks like Kinzer one more time. Marty Hart skates through goes to the outside. Here comes the two young guns battling up front.
And Matag's going to try and take advantage of it. He's on the outside, but still having to hold that outside. CJ Greaves takes over the lead. I see some little boys and girls jumping up and down. The first time they hit that right-hander, it's a very difficult right-hander at that.
3 wide that right-hand turn. CJ Greaves pulls out to a lead, about 7, maybe 8 truck lengths. Keegan Kincaid on the inside already showing some left rear fender damage.
And you see Matag now making a pass coming down the front straightaway in the 81. Matag likes running that higher line. Truck might not work down on that bottom, might want to push up the track, so he's trying to run that cushion and get as much drive and keep as much momentum as he can.
Marty Hart running that 4th spot in that black and red truck, working through the traffic, kind of dicing things out. Right now, I think the guys are just kind of like feeling how the track has changed a little bit, kind of dicing for position up very little bit, not much, waiting for that competition.
Oh, traffic jam. Matag back there in second. I thought it might have been a little brake check for a little bit. Hart on the 15, or Hart now on the 41. Look at who our time and the scoring is going all crazy. But we are seeing Matag in second. Again, look at that high line, but he's also ending high. CJ might start out high and then dives low, trying to cut off some of that distance. The longer way around is usually not the fastest, but that's not always the case.
Keep your eye on Marty Hart, I think. Right now, so far, only a few laps into this race, but he's got lap time. So he's very smart. He's been doing this a long, long time. Not just in 4 wheels, but let's go back a few years on 3 wheels, back when, I should say before the quad days.
Factory Honda pilot, I believe Marty Hart was, on the ATC Honda 250Rs, back at the 2 strokes. So CJ's out in front, Matag in second, Hart third, Keegan Kincaid in 4th, 5th place will be Nick Tyree. Ari Leindyke Jr. in 6th, Brad Lovell in 7th. Remember, we still have that competition caution at the halfway point. We're only 3 laps into this 20-lap main event.
kind of surprised by how it's gapping out right now. Now, this is kind of not unusual in the fact that early on in the race, they start to gap out. They kind of run away from each other, and there's equal gap. Yeah, Marty Hart up on 2 wheels, able to save it and hang on to that position in third. But as the race runs on, all of a sudden they come back together again. I've never been able to figure out that dynamic of why that happens.
Talking with Mike Jenkins earlier, the owner of Traxxas, the RC car group based here in Texas, Keegan Kincaid, who we're looking at right now, that's a new truck for him. I believe that Kate had said he sits back in 4th place right now, but no testing for those guys over at Traxxas, where it's Mike we see in the Pro 4 or Keegan here in the Pro 2.
That kid, another one, it seems like he's just burst on the scene about 3 years ago and started winning right away. Didn't race a lot of anything, but I guess at one point in time, him and his dad sat down and decided, you know what, I do want to race. And he came out of the box winning right away.
And he won in Sturgis. He came out right off the bat of the Pro 2. Look at this race for a second. Hart dives to the inside. You saw him go through the screen. Looks like Hart taking over second, getting by Doug Matag. Matag, let's see if he's got anything for him. He squares it up on the outside, trying to dive inside, but they're both running the outside cushion. Matag was able to turn it.
Marty Hart was way to the outside. And you can see right now they're struggling for trying to find that traction. That track is black dirt in the infield, so it's nothing for these tires to rip up these huge ruts.
Watch this. You see Hart going to that inside again. Hart goes over, and you know what? Matag saved him right there, but that might have knocked the rear end crazy on Matag. Matag saves him, but that might have hurt him when Hart got into it.
It didn't look like it was that hard, but man, that's what this sport's about. This is what happens. That's not unusual. It's kind of fun to see. But what you know is just before that happened, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th place trucks had reeled in CJ Greaves, and I want to say, is CJ playing possum again like we've seen him in practice or in qualifying? He kind of lays back a little bit, watches what's going on around him, and then picks the time when he takes off.
I don't think CJ really wants to hammer down too crazy right now because he knows there's going to be a competition caution. So we're looking at CJ Greaves out in front on his 7th lap now. His best time, a 38.7. That is quicker, a 1/10 of a second quicker than Marty Hart. His best lap's a 38.8. Both of those two guys seem to be the cream of the crop right now.
And Marty Hart falls back to that 4th spot. Somehow Matag now running in 2nd. I think Keegan Kincaid, he's got a very smart spotter right now with his dad. Kincaid watching that track, watching the action on the track. He's comfortable in 3rd. Let's play that competition yellow. I keep going back to that. Strategy comes in.
The one thing is you don't want to start the back half of the race in 3rd. You'd rather start in 2nd and have one guy to get by. So even though he's in 3rd right now and that's a podium spot, he wants one more position to close in on Doug Matag, who's currently in 2nd right now on that white, yellow, and black machine, who's trailing CJ Greaves by what? 5.9 seconds that last time around.
I got to give a call out right now to Brad Lovell, who seems to be struggling a little bit. That is a brand new truck. Very little test time. He lives in Colorado Springs. There's still snow up there, so he hasn't had a chance to test. So right now, it looks like he's struggling in a brand new Pro 2.
Matag looking at him as he goes outside that turn, and he's still taking those outside lines, trying to find the grip. Now we're seeing Keegan starting to close in on Hart. And a little bit of a kicker as you make that last turn coming on that front straightaway. It looks like it upsets the attitude. As I saw Dyke Jr. getting a little crossways in the infield there for just a moment. But it looks like that last turn, as you come along the front straightaway, has that one kicker that kind of upsets the trucks if you go to that inside.
Yeah, you talk about the tires on the track. Ari Lyondike did run over the tires, pushed them further out into the track through that infield section. I'm also hearing the track crew, they know it's there. They just can't get to it, so they're going to have to wait probably until the competition yellow to get it moved over.
And there is that competition yellow out for CJ Greaves. His spotter lets him know he can back off, let that engine cool down just a bit. Doug Matag's going to come across a little over 5 seconds the rears of CJ. Keegan in 3rd. Marty Hart in 4th.
How many times does Ari Lyondike have to hit those tires? He's got to know they're there because he pushed them there the lap before.
And Ari Lyondike just behind Nick Tyree. So Tyree 5th, Lyondike 6th as they cross. So we still have more to go. Let's take a look at what happened to Doug Matag just a moment ago as he made that left-hand turn. So Hart on the inside of him. Hart, that's what got him on two wheels. Matag keeps him upright, and that's, man, I'm telling you, that's hard on the rear end when you get tagged like that. That thing could be crab walking here in a little bit.
It looks like the really soft in that spot, right in that area right there. So I think the track itself, kind of absorbed a lot of the contact from both trucks.
Maybe. Obviously hadn't affected Matag too much. Matag sits in second, and no matter what the instance he was, how far he was behind, he's only bumper to bumper to him now. I believe Kate Osborne has more on Doug Matag.
One of the rookies in Pro two-wheel drive is Doug Matag. Now, he's not a rookie to racing at all, but he did come into this series really excited. He says he feels more comfortable in this truck than any other truck he's been in so far, and he also attributes a lot of his off-season work into his program with JRT in Indonesia. He said it rains a lot in Indonesia, and he's really excited to bring over what he's learned because he's learned to drive in the mud, rain, all the different elements. So Doug Matag, one guy you want to look for here in the Pro two-wheel drive.
Thanks, Kate. Well, we had the rain yesterday. We had the mud today. We've had kind of tacky. Now we're maybe slick in areas here today. So that experience in Indonesia may pay off tonight.
The kid's got a lot of, let's just say, frequent flyer miles. I want to say he's probably made 4, maybe 5 trips back and forth from Indonesia back and forth to the States.
Hope he's flying American. This is the home for American Airlines.
And Doug did finish second in points last year for the season in Pro Light, so the kid knows how to wheel without a doubt.
Yeah, I say flying American. That's because Southwest also based here in Dallas. They don't fly international much other than Mexico side.
No, I got to watch this. The top 2 guys right now are young drivers. Marty Hart in third. We're going green this time by. Let's watch how they start. CJ Griggs hits the orange cones and hits it right away.
Watch, I saw Ari get a little gamey back there in 5th place on the Gunk Mobile. CJ gives up that inside, kind of surprising on Matag. Oh, look at that good run Marty Hart got. Look at Marty Hart. Marty Hart dives the inside. He knows Matag likes taking that wide line. Oh, Marty, right over the tire. Whoa.
He knew it was going to happen. He just went for it. He nailed the throttle. I got to hit. If I'm going to make it over that tire, I got to do it hard. I got to do it fast. So he nailed it and made it over.
Matag still putting the pressure on CJ here. Look at this race. Matag, you see him hook it up. That left front likes to lift up. It looks like a sprint car. Very typical here for the half mile at TMS.
Now, this race right here, the advantage you think will go to Doug Matag because he was the one on the track earlier, just in Pro Light. So he should know what the track conditions are right away better than everybody else. But now as we move into Pro 4, it's going to shift to CJ. CJ's running in Pro 4. He'll be the best driver to know what the track is like.
Look at this. Keegan Kincaid moves his way into second for a split second. Matag needs to take that title. Oh, CJ gets up on 2 wheels. And Keegan gets into the back end of Matag.
And how about Marty Hart all over Ari Leyendijk? There's contact all the way from front to the back as we got multiple battles going on at the same time.
Yeah, I think Ari started out in 6th. He's currently in 4th. He gives a little love tap to Hart. Hart works his way around. Good racing. Oh, Matag almost
Steve
over.
Pinter at his best. Doug Matag has got Bruco traction right now. That left front had to be in the air, maybe 3-4 feet.
Long ways.
Full lock to the right.
Look at Keegan Kincaid again, diving to the inside. Matag has to run that outside line, and Keegan takes advantage of it.
I think Matag's got a right rear tire going down. Watch the right rear on Doug Matag right now running in 3rd spot. That is the worst tire on all 4 right now on this track to be going down.
And it is, that's the case. And you see it smoking now. The fans looking up and at it, coming down that front straightaway now. Now, they do have bead locks and an interliner in some of these trucks as well, so they might hold on. But when that thing starts letting go, a hurry. Oh, and now he goes around, and you couldn't see it on screen. But Matag goes from 3rd back to 5th. Look at his pass. There's no inside line anymore, so they're using the banners.
The tire's not there. The quarter marker's not there anymore, so Kincaid is taking advantage of it. Now, that's Jeff spotting for him. That's his dad telling him to do that. What is Johnny telling him? I'm not sure if Johnny's spotting.
Well, what are the flaggers going to tell him? He's going to say, well, the inside banners were my inside line, where it was a tire earlier. How do I know where that tire was? So they may have something, might give him a rolled black if they see it's something wrong.
I don't see Fay, our flagman, reaching for anything at his waist where the flags are located.
See what we're talking about. See what happens again.
Yeah.
Look at that back straight.
CJ learned something right there. Yep, there we go.
And you think Johnny told him about that?
Who's ever spotting? Absolutely. They saw Kincaid do it. Well, boys, they did it, so can we. Why not?
The track is ever changing, and that's just part of the race here. As CJ Greaves out in front of that round, had a little over a second advantage, but Keegan Kincaid dropping back several seconds. It looks like he's about 2.5 seconds on this lap. Yep, 2.7 seconds after 15 laps of this 20-lap main event have been completed.
Well, this is where we're going to find out who's in shape, who's been working out during the offseason, because right now, I'm telling you, the G-force is being slammed side to side, up and down. Really, where's the... And Keegan is cutting the corner more and more. He's got steering issues.
Yeah,
he's got steering problems without a doubt.
Yeah, he steered right into that tire that we saw Hart push to the other side of the track. He's really going to have issues with that left front after tagging that tire.
I'll bet you right now that he's lost power steering, and when you lose that in one of these trucks, it's going back to the 60s when there's no thing. But it's worse than that. It's actually worse.
It's hard to turn. It's heavy to turn, but it starts and then stops. It is unbelievably difficult. And that may be the case for Keegan Kincaid. CJ Greaves last time around, almost a 3-second advantage. And CJ having a hard time with that left-hander as well. I don't know if his truck's working quite like he wants it as well.
I'm telling you, these guys are having all kinds of problems because of the ruts, especially in turn 1 and 2 of the oval. They're skating across the top of the ruts, upsets the suspension, forces them to bounce to the outside to a completely different line, maybe 2 or 3 lanes out than where they want to be. So our top 2 trucks without doubt are struggling, as CJ is still running a very dominating race. Probably, let's see, almost 3 full seconds in front of Kincaid right now.
CJ Greaves out in front, Keegan Kincaid second, Marty Hart third, Matag fourth, Ari Leindyke Jr. in fifth. Those are your top 5 drivers.
And Marty Hart is cutting the corner even more through those banners in turn 3.
That's the Marty Hart turn. He's the one that caused that whole problem. I think Marty might be closing in a little bit on Keegan as we have a few more laps remaining. Still 3 more laps to go. Marty's definitely closing in on Keegan Kincaid trying to get second.
Yeah, I think it's the experience kicking in right now for Marty Hart over Keegan Kincaid. Keegan probably, 25, 26 years old. Marty Hart, a little bit older, been doing this for a long, long time. So I have a funny feeling it's the experience more than anything that's catching Keegan.
Having a hard time getting that truck to rotate. Watch that race for a second. It looks like CJ's out in front nice and strong. Look at that race for a second. The Traxxas entry having a hard time pivoting that truck, get it to turn around. Hart is all over him. He was about a 1.5 seconds behind the last time around. This time he's right on his tail. White flag is out. 1 more to go for your top 3 coming down that front straight.
Coming out of that final corner, Marty Hart almost looked like he was doing a wheelie, bounced through the rut so hard, lost a little bit of a gap to second, but that's the race to watch right now for that second spot. The number 7 Traxxas entry of Keegan Kincaid, and Marty Hart in the 15 running in that 3rd spot out of the Chad Horde Racing Camp.
As you're seeing CJ, there's Keegan.
Marty Hart goes around, almost a full 360 from Hart. He'll cut across the grass, get back on the track. But how about Kincaid? Where did he come from? About 3 truck lengths behind CJ Greaves.
Coming down the front straightaway, the final time. White turns to checkered, and the Wisconsin boy in the Pro 2-wheel drive taking the victory. CJ Greaves on the Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota. Second place goes to the Traxxas machine of Keegan Kincaid with those Cooper tires, and in 3rd place, Marty Hart. What a strong run by him, finishing on the podium on the system control AMSO Maxxis tired Ford. In 3rd, officially Doug Matag. Matag on that Johnland Racing Team Ford, the Cooper tires. And 4th, unofficially, I have Ari Leindyke Jr. in 4th. I don't know what happened on that last lap. But again, everything I say is officially unofficial, but I have the gunk entry of Ari Leindyke Jr. finishing just outside that podium in 4th. Nick Tyree in 5th of the 91.
What's really interesting is if you're an off-road short course historian, go back about 7 or 8, even longer in years, and the 2 sons out there running 1 and 2, C.J. Greaves and Keegan Kincaid. Their dads raced against each other and beat on each other in Pro Light years and years ago for multiple championships, multiple race wins. So it's kind of neat to see the future of off-road racing is going on right now as they make their way to the podium.
They're beat up for sure. Keegan is. Look at that truck. It resembles a signature truck from the RC truck. And remember, you can maybe get some parts off of Keegan's truck. All that fiberglass that falls off, if they can't reuse it, they give it to the fans and get that autograph.
And there's only one way to do that. That's stick around after the race.
Go see them.
Pro 4 race. Walk around the outside of turn 3 and 4. You'll see a gravel path. It'll take you right in the pits, which is on the back stretch. I'm guaranteeing that even if the door's in one piece, even the hood's in one piece, the guys will cut these things off, tear them apart, sign them for you to take them home for the first ever Torc race here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yep, for 2015 as we get ready to meet our podium recipients. Again, Kate Osborne will be doing the duties down there on the floor. And again, for our Fox Sports crew and all of our fans watching around the world, let everybody know what a great time you're having here at Texas Motor Speedway on the half mile.
C.J. Greaves getting ready to crawl outside that truck. Look right above that Monster Energy M. You see the red
Kyle.
stripes. That's actually was printed up by Travis Dinsmore and his crew. The team from Canada. They wanted to recognize Chris Kyle Memorial and Chris Kyle in particular, and they made that sticker out of their own pocket. They printed up about 500 of them, brought them down here, and the racers are now running them.
Good deal. I have a buddy of mine from Midlothian where Chris was from and around there. Chris Dobbs at Gyro Signs made up to go around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and he was a legend around the country, but a big legend here. What do you think about C.J. Greaves taking a victory in Pro 2-wheel drive?
All right, CJ, now is that the way you want to start the season in such a dominant fashion?
Yeah, you know, new truck, new guys, everything. We worked our butts off. I think we did our homework, made a better truck. Couldn't do it without all my team, Boots, Cody, Devin, Brad, my dad, all my family. The Lord for keeping us safe, all you guys for coming out here. I hope we put on a show for you guys, and we can do it again next race.
Now, CJ, today, this Pro 2 has been through it today. Talk us through what the day's been like.
Yeah, you know, it was a new truck. We had problems right from the get-go. Testing, we had a problem. Thought we fixed it, came out here, same problem. So we luckily got it fixed. My crew worked their butts off. Hats off to them, too. So that's all we can do. Ask for a win. Started off the season with some wins. That's all we can do.
All right, CJ, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice work, CJ.
CJ stoked as he prepares to get his picture taken up on the top step of the podium, but also he's got to prepare, and we've seen this before, he's got to prepare for the Pro 4-wheel drive. We'll see here in just a moment. And you see some track work. First time we've seen the road equipment out there trying to level the 4-wheel drive. And it looks like our second place is. Let's send it down one more time. How about it, Texas? Second place out of Wisconsin, Keegan Kincaid on the Traxxas entry.
All right, Keegan, congratulations on the second place. What a way to start the season for you, especially here in a Pro 2.
It's a new truck, and we didn't get much practice on the track before due to the rain, but we made the best of it, and truck wasn't perfect, but we just had to do with it. And last couple laps, I lost power steering there, and I knew Marty was pushing hard. But this Traxxas truck held together just long enough to put it up on the box, and I can't thank Cooper Tires. These things were hooked up and brought us a number 2 spot. So hopefully next round we can get on top spot.
What does it mean to you to start this season here, especially with it being a Pro 2, to get on the podium? I mean, what a great thing for you.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more. My team's put in a lot of hard work to get this truck together in time for this first race, and you know, we did it. So. We got over that hump, I think, and now it's on from here. So hopefully we can continue this into the next rounds and hopefully get on the top spot.
All right, lastly, this is a new truck, and you said earlier to me that you had so much pride driving it. How did you feel?
Oh, I felt great. You know, I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, and for it to get me where it is today, I couldn't be happier. My dad and Rocky, he put in a lot of hours this winter with me too, so I couldn't be happier. And this Traxxas Cooper Tire AMSOIL truck is awesome.
All right, Keegan, congratulations. Woo.
2 down, 1 more to go as we'll see Marty Hart come across in just a moment. Again, he had won here before. Been back in, 2009. Marty Hart took the Pro Light victory. Himself is Casey Curry, the first 2 winners in Pro Light back in 2009. Here in the two-wheel drive, we've had Ricky Johnson, we've had Scott Taylor, and now we're going to see C.J. Greaves.
Do you even know half the guys you just rattled off? I mean, I know they're watching back at home. I mean, we're talking Scott Taylor.
Am I not supposed to know?
You're
Okay.
absolutely correct, but I wasn't expecting to hear that name come out of your mouth. And I'm like, Scott was one of the best, one of the winningest Pro 2 drivers ever in the history of short course.
Anyone here in Texas. Let's send it down to 3rd place. How about it for Marty Hart, ladies and gentlemen?
Marty, what a wild ride that was for you. Tires and then rolling over. Describe what that race was.
Well, it was complete chaos for me. I ate a lot of dirt and ran over a lot of people out on the track. I think we ran over everything out there, but we still managed to get to the podium. You know, these guys at this crew had Chad Hort Racing is gave me an opportunity to put this thing up on the podium every week, and that's my my job. So we ain't gonna never give up, and we'll just keep digging at these guys. I mean, we got about now to be close to 30 laps in the truck. So after that race, so I'm still getting used to it, and I'm gonna make it mine before it's over with, and then we'll have something to run with these guys with.
Marty, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks to Maxxis, all the guys at AMSOIL, System Control. Thanks a lot, all the crowd, everybody that came out to watch. Appreciate it.
And you have even a celebration standing over there with your son getting on the podium here today.
Yeah, he got his first win in Torc, so we're proud of him there, and it's gonna be a good day when Chad puts it on the podium too. So it's a good day for Maxxis too.
There you have it. Congratulations.
Voice starting to quiver there a little bit for Marty Hart. Always a proud papa. So 2 races have been completed. You see him doing the track work. We have more. When we come back, it'll be the big boys at Torc, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL.
In front on the racetrack or on the trail requires every performance edge you can get. AMSOIL Synthetic Dirt Bike Oil is formulated to maximize horsepower. Its synthetic base oils reduce energy loss to friction, meaning your engine works less to deliver more power to the ground, helping you get out front and stay out front. AMSOIL Synthetic Dirt Bike Oil. Out front performance.
Professional driver tearing up the hot mud of the track, or a daily driver hitting the cool city night, we built the tire for both of you. At Atturo Tires, we believe great tires do not have to cost a great deal of money. A proven winner, a tire able to handle anything you throw at it on the street or trail. An Atturo Tire, performance within reach.
Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, is brought to you by Liquid Wrench. Hyde. Rugged Radios. Arturo Tires. And Motor Medic. Welcome back to the half-mile track, but it's also the site of Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The first race of the season is supposed to be round number 2, but instead it's our first round after the weather last night canceled the first stop. We fire things up tonight. 2 champions have been crowned, both the Pro Light and the Pro 2-wheel drive. We'll see the Pro 4-wheel drives. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people went for the restrooms. Check out some of that merchandise. It's right behind the stands here as well. But also after the 4-wheel drive, when they're doing the track prep, they open up the pits, and all you fans can go out there and meet the drivers, maybe pick up some swag, maybe get some fiberglass parts, hang them up in the garage, something fun to do. And part of the Torc series here is we're about 15 minutes north of Fort Worth on I-35 West. About 10 minutes south of Denton, Texas, and home of the University of North Texas. So I believe we're supposed to send the drivers over to that podium now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way back up to the podium. How about a round of applause for our top 3? Third place, Marty Hart. Second place, Keegan Kincaid. And taking the victory here in the Pro 2-wheel drive, CJ Greaves. How about a round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen? Get loud, Texas. All right, there's our podium finishers. You see the track work almost complete. They'll get that. They'll do a little track observation when we come back to Torc the Off-Road Championship. We'll have the Pro 4-wheel drives here in just a moment.
Yeah. 4 o'clock would be great.
When you're stuck with a dead battery, Pep Boys has the one you need and the human decency to install it for free. Trust the boys to get you there.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
I'm professional drifter Ryan Turk, and I use VP fuels.
When I'm out there racing, God, I love the sound.
What Borla does with the sound of this exhaust, there's a linear relationship between what's going on in the engine to what's going on in the exhaust.
When I hear that engine scream and get above 6,000 RPM, it's the sound of power.
All you need to know is tune yourself to the exhaust. What a great product, well engineered.
Whether you're a professional driver tearing up the hot mud of the track or a daily driver hitting the cool city streets at night, we built the tire for both of you. At Arturo Tires, we believe great tires do not have to cost a deal of money. A proven winner, a tire able to handle anything you throw at it on the street or trail. An Arturo Tire, performance within reach.
Welcome back to Texas. Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, is brought to you by AMSOIL and GoPro, Pep Boys, and Cooper Tires. It's a great day at Texas Motor Speedway because we actually get to race where yesterday we did not have that option. It was an option, but you needed a snorkel. Here, I'm Robbie Floyd. Scott Rain here with you as well. I think he's going to have a special guest up in the booth here in just a moment. No Limits, Texas. That's what they call this specific area, whether it be in the big track or the little track. It's also known as Texas Motor Speedway. I've done IndyCar here. I've done the Red Bull Air Race here. And now I've done Torc, the Off-Road Championship on these grounds. And glad to be a part of it. The lights are bright, and they were shining brightest on C.J. Greaves in the Pro 2-wheel drive coming up here in just a second. Will be the Pro 4-wheel drives. We'll see if C.J. can repeat in that. Well, Scott, I'm going to step out for a second, and it looks like one of your buddies come to join you here for a moment.
It never fails that at least one time during the weekend, this man comes up here and into the booth and kind of hangs out with us for a while, and rightfully so. If it wasn't for AMSOIL, there's no way we could be putting on this kind of event. Anywhere we go in the country, no matter where it's been, whether it's California, North Carolina, down in the south, way up in the north, Jeremy Meyer from AMSOIL. Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway, my friend.
Well, it's great to be here. It's been a few years since we've been down here, so it's always good to come back. And, you know, it's like 40 degrees and snowing back home, so anytime you come down to 80 degrees, we're definitely going to make the trip. But it's great racing, and there's great fans here this weekend, and it's an honor to be back at Texas Motor Speedway and seeing some pretty good racing so far.
Well, and the thing is that we've had a great crowd tonight. I kind of consider this almost, we haven't been here for a while, so I kind of consider this almost the first time we've been here. So I consider this almost first-time crowd, and we go to a lot of events for the first time. I think this is one of the probably the best crowds we've had in quite a while for a first-time event.
Oh, definitely, and there's definitely a lot of enthusiasm with the fans and the kids. You know, it's getting tired, and it's going to be that time. But I think the engines and the excitement of the racing is keeping them awake here. And you know, we still got that track walk coming up, and we still got the pit walk, and you know, those drivers are going to be out there with autographs and everything, and back in the pits. So there's still a lot more to come, and this Pro 4 race is going to be one heck of a race between these guys.
Well, you as a sponsor of the series, AMSOIL is the presenting sponsor of the Off-Road Championship. Tell us what it's like for you as a sponsor to kind of stand back and just watch the reactions to the crowds that have never been to something like this before, and they're walking the pits, getting autographs. Well, you know, like you said, you mentioned the track walk. After the last race tonight, and you walk around the racetrack, get back into the pits, you can come out in turn 2 there in the opening in the wall and actually walk the track and see what these guys have been racing on.
Yeah, you know, it's a great opportunity, you know, to get up and close on what's been going on. I always like walking like a snowcross track or a supercross track after it's done and seeing the ruts and seeing how the track kind of wears out. And I think you guys will be surprised when you walk out there, you know, see the grooves and see the ruts and see what these guys are really dealing with here. But, yeah, the excitement, you know, maybe you've seen it on the live stream, maybe you've seen it on TV in the past, but to come out here and see it face-to-face and interact with these drivers and the crews and the sponsors and all the other fans who may have never been to an off-road truck race live and in person, I always say you go to truck racing. Once you see it, you're hooked for life.
And the thing is, let's go to AMSOIL now. Let's talk about the product. Anything new coming out? I mean, you guys, you're not just what do you say? You're not bottlers. You guys actually formulate this stuff, whatever kind of lubrication it is.
We started. It's up in Superior, Wisconsin. It's all American made, and it's cars, trucks, boats, diesels, off-road trucks. You know, the products these guys are using out here. You know, same products you can buy. You can buy RD50 that Scott Douglas is running. You can go to our website and buy that oil. It's not a special blend. It's that good. But really, what we've been doing is focusing a lot on power sports early on. At least in 2015 here, new dirt bike oils, new motorcycle oils, some reblends, some ATV, UTV oils coming out, some new antifreezes coming out. So it's not just motor oil. It's everything from bumper to bumper that you need for a car for in your shop. So a lot of new products, a lot of new development, getting market segments covered, you know, and then making the big push in the passenger car. You know, that's our bread and butter. You know, people think of us as a racing and a power sports company, but we're a passenger car oil, a diesel oil company, and that's where we make our living.
Well, what's really neat, I like the fact that you said we're known for power sports and lubrication, but you're also, you know, street cars, automotive. You're the guy behind the whole spearheading of this whole power sports thing. I mean, basically, it's been your baby from about 15 years ago, and you slowly but surely have made AMSOIL, like instead of being your neighbor next door that sells it, to a mainstream product.
Well, yeah, you know, we are sold through dealers, independent dealers. So the guy next door might be an AMSOIL dealer, but we're in retail accounts. We're, you know, a number of commercial accounts. You can be a PC, you can order it online. But yeah, we've made a living being in the power sports industry and being in events like Torc and hitting all these fans. Supercross and snowcross and AMSOIL Arena Cross. You know, we have a distribution center right here in Dallas. So one of our 14 throughout the country, and it's great product. I mean, I didn't know much about the company when I started there, but the fact that I know the quality and the commitment they had to that quality really made me stay there for an entire decade.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for coming up.
We have a big dealer show that weekend starting up there in Superior, Wisconsin, where I said it's snowing. So, but yeah, we're going to make it down there because, you know, we love Torc racing, and it's May. It's right after Mother's Day, so I have 1 weekend to be at home, then I can get back on the road again.
Well, fishing season is almost coming up too, I'm sure.
Well, that's Mother's Day weekend too. So.
See, I knew there was something behind the story you weren't telling us.
Well, there's always a backstory. You got kids and family. You got to stay home once in a while. But you know, there's a lot of great things going on. Torc's doing a lot of great things. All the sponsors are doing great things. When you guys go back to that, I do want to make a plug. Stop by. Sign up for the AMSOIL Auto Adventure. It's a week-long trip that starts in Deadwood.
Yeah.
It's going to end in Vegas.
Don't you need a narrator, commentator?
We'll see, Scott. We'll see how you treat me the rest of the night here. But yeah, go and it's a pretty cool ride. It's kind of like the Amazing Race type thing. You get a whole bunch of challenges. You stay at some five-star resorts. Just go to AMSOILracing.com and sign up for it, or stop by the booth here this weekend and learn more about it. It's a pretty cool deal. We're going to end it at Monster Energy Cup out in Las Vegas. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us up here, and we'll see you in a couple weeks in St. Louis. In the meantime, we got just a few moments before our next and final race. We'll be right back after this.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
We had these torrential downpours, and these trucks are not designed to have another 2,000 pounds of mud put on them, and then you pack the radiators tight. The tranny gauge, the water gauge, the oil gauge, everything's pegged. The Amsoil product came through for us and kept the rear end, the transmission, and the engine all running fine. And I tell you what, we were ready to go for the next day and pretty proud of it.
Let's fire them up one more time. We're at Texas Motor Speedway, No Limits, Texas, for Torc, the off-road championship presented by Amsoil. The final race of the night, and then you get to go meet them across the other side of the stands as we prepare for our final race, the Pro 4-Wheel Drives in the number 47, sponsored by Traxxas and Cooper Tires. He hails from McKinney, Texas. How about a loud round of applause for Mike Jenkins?
Our next driver on the track, he was out there just a moment ago in Pro 2 taking the checkered flag. Can he make it 2 in a row in 2 different classes? From Abrams, Wisconsin, just north of Green Bay, driving the Maxxis tire, number 33, young C.J. Greaves.
Driving the number 9 out of the great state of Michigan on that Maxxis Tire Ford, sponsored by Cat, Amsoil, and Maxxis Tire, Chad Horde.
Our next track comes from El Cajon, California. One of the wildest looking trucks, more popular than many and other forms of motorsports. Driving the number 7, Cooper Tire, Amsoil, boil exhaust, Ford, Scott Douglas.
And the 3-time and defending champion of that Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota out of Abrams, Wisconsin, the Deuce, the 22 of Johnny Greaves.
And the final truck in line from Tulare, California. 2-time Camping World Truck Series champion, driving the KMC Wheels Amsoil, Chris Kyle Memorial 4, Matt Crafton. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been informed that during qualifying, the front differential on Matt Crafton's Chris Kyle Memorial benefit, number 11, blew a front differential. Right now, he is only in 2-wheel drive.
So here we go. It's a 20-lap race. Again, the competition yellow at the halfway point. On the inside, Mike Jenkins in that untested truck. She's brand new and about 300 pounds lighter than she was last year.
Side by side for second, C.J. Greaves, Chad Horde. 2 brand new trucks running second and third with a brand new truck in the lead. Mike Jenkins pulls it out.
Oh, C.J. dives in on Horde and almost climbs up on his hood.
Aggressive driving very early in this race. C.J. Greaves second.
Look at Johnny.
Johnny Greaves, Johnny goes inside. For a moment, Chad Horde climbed the right front tire of Johnny Greaves. He'll fall all the way back to 5th.
Jenkins, C.J. Greaves, Johnny Greaves, 1, 2, and 3. Scott Douglas in 4th. 5th spot's Chad Horde. And it looks like Crafton back there in 6th. Look at that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Jenkins, he's out in front. He's trying to check out, but that's not happening too easy.
Scott Douglas goes inside of Johnny Greaves. And Amsoil Ford trying to go around. He'll fall back to 4th. Right in the back bumper, 3rd place, Johnny.
You open that door, he's going to go in sooner or later, so Johnny's got to be cognizant of that. He's got his son in front of him, and he's got Scott Douglas just behind him. So although Johnny Greaves sits in 3rd, he's thinking out how he can get by CJ. He's got to be careful because that Amsoil machine just behind in 4th will take advantage of that move.
You got very, very experienced drivers running in third and fourth. CJ Greaves goes wide. Then he bounced off the ruts going into the corner, upset the suspension, skidded across the top, had to go wide in the corner, open the door for Johnny, his father, to take second. And here comes CJ back to the inside. Father, son, side by side.
Johnny's going to try and close him off, try and shut him down. We'll see if that four-wheel drive can grab enough traction on the Maxxis entry. Nope, he moves back to third. Johnny gets a good run. Now Mike Jenkins, who's been running by himself with nobody really putting the pressure on him, he hasn't had to worry about holding anybody off. He's been running his own race and has about a half a second advantage. But look at it close up now. Oh, look at Douglas.
Douglas got a little bit off the track, had no traction, dynamite the brakes. You can see him just skidding down the infield. Was able to collect and avoid a little bit of contact. Still maintains fourth.
Johnny keeps going wide, coming on that final turn, and CJ goes inside. One of these times, and maybe it might be the last lap, CJ's going to get a good drive and maybe be in front at the finish. Again, it's not who exits, how you cross that finish line. It'll determine who wins this race. Oh, Jenkins goes over almost, and Greaves takes advantage. Both Greaves. Now, Johnny in first and CJ in second.
Well, I was just about to say, how patient is Johnny going to be with Jenkins running up front and his son behind him? Is he racing what's in front of him or kind of watch behind what's happening with CJ? And here comes Jenkins. Give a little love tap on that left rear fender of CJ. Jenkins being very aggressive out there right now.
I thought he dove on the inside, but he got on the brakes instead of hitting him hard. Just said, hey, here I am. I'm trying to get underneath you. So a good racing for first, second, and third, and fourth. Horde back there in fifth, a race of his own right now. Crafton comes along the front straightaway in sixth. Again, you talked about how that Pro 4 is actually running Pro 2 right now.
That's a $30,000 differential that blew during qualifying. Absolutely nothing can be done about it. And I see a puff of smoke out there right now. Again, who did that come from? But keep in mind, before the race started, during qualifying, Chad Horde blew the transmission in his truck. The crew just barely got it done in time. We found that out by a fan on the internet from northern Michigan, a fellow Uper.
I'm watching Mike Jenkins back in third, trying to take advantage of a bobble of CJ Greaves, and now Douglas starting to make up some of that ground he lost about a lap and a half ago. Jenkins keeps seeing little bobbles by. Oh, and CJ does it right there. Another big bobble. He swabs around. He was set up too far on that inside, making that right-hand turn. It cost him. Jenkins couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, I'm looking at lap times right now. Scott Douglas has the fastest lap time running in that fourth spot. So he's got the speed. He just needs the opportunity to start working on these guys.
He has speed, not the position. Back in fourth place is Scott Douglas. You talked about it. His best lap of 37:33. The best lap total in this race was Johnny Greaves, a 36:97 that last lap.
So Johnny Greaves without doubt taking advantage of clean air in front of him. But what a battle going on right now for second, third, and fourth as lap traffic. Matt Crafton is going to be a factor, or could be a factor, in about a half a lap. I'm really struggling with no front-wheel drive, only two-wheel drive in the rear.
You know the beauty of it as well. They get to start nose to tail here in just a few more laps. 8 laps now complete for Johnny Greaves. At the 10-lap mark, we will re-rack them and restack them at the competition yellow. So that battle for second, third, and fourth is going to get even tighter here in just a couple of laps.
You can see Matt Crafton right now, knowing that he's got a wounded duck that he's driving, so he kind of pulls off to the side. Johnny goes by. Here comes CJ. And Jenkins has an issue going that left-hand turn. Scott Douglas now moves up into third.
So Crafton's trying to stay out of the way, and they take that left-hand turn. Watch that big kicker on the very inside. That's what Crafton's going to do and try and stay out of the way. And it looks like CJ timed it perfectly. Douglas now in third as Jenkins is back and forth. You talked about it. You said Douglas had the fastest lap time. I don't know if that's still the case. It's not the case anymore because that lap of Johnny Greaves, but he looks the quickest on the track. He's taking advantage of when the situation arises. Somebody makes a bobble, and he takes how to do to win this race.
I'm watching right now, and every driver's getting, the laps are getting faster as the race wears on.
Competition yellow is going to come out next time around. You see the yellow and the white in the flagger's hands, and Johnny is the leader in the first half of this race. He'll start the second half out in front. His son CJ in second, third Scott Douglas. Mike Jenkins going to have to start in fourth after leading probably half of this Pro 4-wheel drive race.
Here comes the Chris Cobb Memorial pace truck onto the track. He'll collect Johnny Greaves once he gets into turn 3. And again, you go to ChrisCommemorialBenefit.com and register for your chance to win that truck, and that would be a free lease for 1 year, I think it is, that truck right there.
Well, wasn't it the last time we were on a half-mile track, the sister to this track at Charlotte Motor Speedway? Was it Johnny and we saw get into it, or was it Mark? Mark Jenkins, his brother as well as Johnny. So Jenkins and Johnny have some history. The last time we were having, you might have seen it on TorcSeries.com, where he actually comes in near the window netting, and we'll see if we can see something like that happen again. This time, we're seeing two Greaves out in front. Johnny, the older, I say that, the father, the 22 in front, CJ in second, Scott Douglas in third, Mike Jenkins back and forth, Chad Horde fifth, and Matt Crafton a lap down in sixth.
Once again, please, everybody, stick around after this race. Walk around the turn 3 and 4 of the oval, back into the pits in the backstretch. Not only you get autographs and pictures and maybe some body panels off these race trucks, but also you come out on for a track walk. We got 1/2 of a race to go. Pro 4 back in the green.
Was that a legal move by Scott Douglas going to the inside of CJ Greaves? Oh, and Mike gets into CJ a little bit. Lets him know what's happening. We'll see if, and now CJ gets into it with Chad Horde, I believe, going down that back straight.
And look at Chad Horde. He's forcing the issue. The door was open just a little bit, maybe half a truck, but Chad Horde plowed through the inside. And what a great race for him in his first ever Pro 4 event. Never been behind the wheel of a four-wheel drive truck.
I'm looking for a rolled-up black flag, something. Was that an okay move by Scott Douglas coming to take that green flag? I'm not seeing anything, but Douglas is in second right now. Johnny's out in front. It's Mike Jenkins in third, Chad Horde fourth, CJ in fifth. So the Monster Energy flag, and he spins around. Taking advantage is Scott Douglas. Johnny's going to have to work his way all the way through the field. CJ trying to move in. CJ still not able to get by his father back there in fourth. So Scott Douglas coming across in front right now. Right across the flagging stand one time. Look at this race for second. Mike Jenkins is second. Third is CJ. Johnny in fourth. Fifth is Chad Horde. Look at that race for second, third, and fourth, and fifth. Look at that. Our second through fifth, man, they are so tight going down that back straightaway, making that left-hand turn.
And how about Scott Douglas took advantage of the situation? We talked about this earlier. He wasn't going to he's always been the guy that's, taking a little bit. You want to push me, go right ahead. I'm going to race it clean. Well, this year, during the off-season, he kind of refocused his entire team, got a couple of new crew members, and had a new attitude. I'm going to be the giver. I'm going to be the aggressive guy beating on you, not going to be the receiver this year.
Oh, look at CJ closing in on Mike Jenkins, and it looks like Johnny closing in on him. CJ's going to have position. Johnny's going to have the drive back there again. That second, third, and fourth.
That's a brand new truck for CJ Greaves, that bright orange Maxxis entry. The way that truck is handling, he might not have front wheel drive.
We saw it the first time. Actually, he had one race in it last year at Crandon. That was the first time we'd seen him in that Pro 4. But right now, he's all over. Mike Jenkins squares it up, tries to go to the inside. He's going to have a good run here. Jenkins going to be on the outside, but CJ looking for traction. So as Scott Douglas continues to be out in front by himself, now look at CJ with the drive. CJ on the backside. Mike's going to try and shut him down. He does just that. CJ is ready for it, and CJ takes over position, and Johnny now moves into third. Look at this race. Johnny's getting bumped from the rear.
Man, Mike Jenkins is riding that back bumper of Johnny Greaves through the infield. Greaves now moves in front of CJ. Greaves now in second.
And CJ goes inside of Johnny and taps him, and Mike Jenkins goes back into the runner-up position. Father and son hitting each other.
And nothing could be better right now than for Scott Douglas.
Chad Horde's now into third spot in that cat entry, but Scott Douglas pulls away, took advantage of the situation that he had in front of him, and he's out in front. Second place, Mike Jenkins on that Traxxas truck. It looks just like the remote control car, and just like the RC car, those things can take a beating. Douglas, Jenkins, Horde in third. CJ Greaves, or Johnny Greaves, back and forth. CJ Greaves back behind him.
How about Chad Horde? Got a great run up for turn 2 of the oval. Now going into turn 3.
Look at the race. Horde all over the back end of Mike Jenkins. As the laps start winding down here in Texas, the Pro 4-wheel drive. Looks like 16 laps have been complete now. Make that 17 for Scott Douglas. With that initial start on the back half of this race, I thought he possibly may have jumped and made a pass before he made it to that flag.
Chad Horde. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And you're right. Horde, who sits in third, starting to smoke a bit.
I believe there'll be 3 laps left this time by for our leader Scott Douglas, but the battle going on is still for second place. Chad Horde gets squirrely. He got a little alligator tail action going on the straightaway. Johnny Greaves gets by. Greaves down to that third spot.
Yeah, I don't know what's going wrong with Chad Horde, but his handling went away from him there. As 2 laps remain, we get the 2 signal. 2 laps to go in this Pro 4-wheel drive. Douglas and Jenkins 1 and 2, but now Jenkins starting to get pressure from Johnny Greaves. Look at Johnny Greaves starting to close in on that back straightaway. The next time around, we're going to get the white flag. Look at this, Texas. Make some noise. Look at this. Johnny Greaves trying to get on the inside, squaring it up.
You're basically watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers battle out right now between Jenkins and Greaves. White flag is coming out this time by. Greaves basically brake checks Mike Jenkins putting that right-hand corner, but used it to his advantage.
And that helped Chad Horde close in a little bit. Johnny knows to go to that inside. It looks like Douglas takes the white flag. We're on the last lap of this Pro 4-wheel drive main event. Exiting turn 2 now is Scott Douglas. Second is pulled away from Mike Jenkins just a bit.
Oh, and CJ Greaves is limping around the track, trying to run some laps for points. You see Matt Crafton pulling off to the side, getting out of everybody's way. Now the battle's for that last podium spot between Chad Horde and Mike Jenkins, and they make contact.
Crafton didn't really have anywhere to go. He tried taking that very inside line to hold ground. I don't care what you say, but Scott Douglas is going to take the win here in Pro 4. The number 7 AMSOIL entry takes the win. Johnny Greaves in second. Third goes to the Texan, Mike Jenkins, to start off his 2015 campaign. Chad Horde in fourth, CJ Greaves fifth, and Matt Crafton's going to be sixth. I want to remind everyone that the race is over, but the fun has just begun. If you want to head over towards the pits, after these guys come across here and take their trophy presentation, the pits will be open after the trophy presentation. What a run by Scott Douglas, Johnny Greaves, Mike Jenkins, Chad Horde, CJ Greaves, and Matt Crafton.
Oh, looks like something Scott Douglas may have some sort of celebration planned on the track. For the fans here in Dallas, they talked about the drivers meeting. Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we have a little bit of fun? And BJ Birdwell said, boys, it's your track. Do what you want. So this is going to be a little fun. So Scott Douglas, Johnny Greaves, and Mike Jenkins. And a boy from right down the road here in Plano, Texas, is going to have a little bit of fun with his own fans here in just a moment.
Yeah, he had a strong run. I mean, he didn't give quarter and he didn't take quarter. I mean, all 3 of those guys fought hard for the positions they ended in. And it didn't look like the first race of the season where you're taking it easy. It looked like the last race of the season where you just throw caution to the wind. Don't you think?
Yeah, the only thing that gave me the indication that this was the first race of the year of was the problems that CJ had in a brand new truck. You talk about that he ran it one race last year. He did, but I haven't done a whole lot of testing. They even changed quite a bit of it during the offseason. So for him, this is a brand new truck. It looks like Scott Douglas is unstrapping that thing, and those guys are really, really belted in there like gladiators, man. They're just cocooned inside these trucks. So in a moment, we'll turn it over trackside to Kate Osborne, and she'll be having probably the most fun she's had all night long.
I know Scott will be. Take off that Nomex. Quite an eventful race for him. And, I think, honestly, it came down to the start. Where was he? Third on the start, on that restart. I believe he was third,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the crafty veteran.
Here he is. How about it? Your winner in Pro 4-wheel drive on that AMSOIL Borla exhaust Ford, Scott Douglas, taking the victory.
All right, Scott, congratulations on your win here. First win since Charlotte last year. Do you like these oval dirt tracks?
I love these things, I'm telling you. I mean, the tighter the better, and the big holes and ruts, it goes back to my desert days, and it's just awesome to be here. I mean, this track was really, really rough. It was challenging. You had to pick your lines. You couldn't just mash the throttle like a lot of our big tracks. You just mash the throttle and go. You had to pick it. You had to ease through the sweeper in some spots. The right-hander was tricky every time, and this coming back on the oval was just nuts. But I'm telling you, this AMSOIL Borla exhaust Walker Evans racing wheel truck just really, really worked good. And these Cooper tires, I'm telling you, this is my first time on Cooper tires, and we're 1 for 1, baby. Yeah!
There you go, Scott. Congratulations. Now, I gotta ask you, you talked to me earlier today about kind of changing your team around, mixing some things up. How much would you attribute this win to those changes?
Oh, just a bunch. I got Dan Sutherland as a crew chief. I got, my old veteran Ted Kendall back, good buddy Jeff Howe. I mean, just Gary, and then I got a new guy at the shop too, Dustin. It's his first race with us, his first win. I tell you what, I mean, it couldn't be happier, it couldn't be better. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of it's me too. I came in here, and some of the, like Dan told me, he goes, if I go to work for you, it's to win races, and that's it, so let's do it. And I tell you, I got a whole new attitude, really being aggressive, maybe not so much with the competitors, but aggressive with the track and aggressive with the truck. And this thing was tuned up great. I mean, like I said, I can't thank AMSOIL enough. We changed the cooling system on this, and we got a little bit of heating issues, but.
All right, remember we were talking about the weather and experiencing technical difficulties. It looked to be the case down there as well. So you were talking about cooling issues with that truck, and in case you're unfamiliar with them, they have multiple fans trying to keep everything from the transmission to the radiator cool on those four-wheel drives, two-wheel drives, and lights.
It's simply amazing. The engine will have probably 3 radiators, 2 large ones possibly. The transmission might have 3 trans coolers. Just amazing.
We're going to step aside for just a moment. Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Some great racing here tonight. We'll hear from our podium finishers right after this.
When you take that checkered flag and you're standing top on the box, you're all on your shirt. But I tell you what, when you take that motor apart in the dyno room and you look at those bearings and you see how great they are, you're really proud to be an AMSOIL driver and to be representing a team that has product that's that good.
When you need new brakes, Pep Boys Precision Match is the best brake service to make stopping as smooth as humanly possible. Trust the boys to get you there.
You're seeing that Pep Boys commercial out there. I think they did a lot of boys, and it brought the fans out here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. These fans ready to meet their favorite driver. guys down on the victory podium. We already heard from Scott Douglas. We're about to hear from Johnny Greaves and Mike Jenkins here in just a moment. But a great start for the 2015 Torc campaign. Every race was pretty darn eventful. I mean, just when you thought a guy, he's got this wrapped up, that wasn't the case, whether it be pro life or force.
You know, you don't need 20 trucks. You don't need 25 trucks. When you have something like this off-road, every single lap is the same. I'm sorry, you're a moto guy, but for me, I go to a supercross race. After about 3-4 races, it's the same triple. It's the same double. It's the same, tabletop. Here, we got the tabletops, we got the triples, we got the rhythm sections, but it looks different every single lap from the same driver. He's trying different lines. The truck always is moving. I love watching the suspensions work.
It changes lap after lap, and a guy who's done it the best the past few years, a defending champion, finished the second here tonight, Johnny Greaves. Case with him.
All right, down here with Johnny Greaves. Congratulations on your second place podium finish here.
I got clean, pretty early and got a little bit of a lead and just kind of settled in because I knew the war starts after the yellow and, a bunch of people got banged around. I guess I spun out and kind of gave it away. But, CJ was fighting to stay in there and, I with that whole pack he was with and got underneath, and I think him and I made a little contact down there, and it's all good. That's racing, whether it's your kid or Scott Douglas or Mike Jenkins or anyone else. I don't blame anybody. It was a tough track to race, and I just got to thank all the people for coming out here. I hope they had fun, because I had fun to the front about 4 or 5 times. I didn't know where we were going to end up in the end, but all in all, it was a good race, and we salvaged what could have been a disaster with all that rain, and put on a show, and that's what we're here to do. So thanks to Monster, Maxxis, and these awesome Toyota engines.
All right, thanks, Johnny. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
You can see the smile on Johnny's face, and yeah, it's amazing. The workers, not only USAC and Torc, to getting this track and everything dialed in. Yeah, there were some hiccups here and there, but for the most part, great racing throughout the night, ending this pro four-wheel drive race. And get a hometown boy on the podium as well, and Mike Jenkins, and down the road in Plano. Let's go down to Mike.
All right, Mike, congratulations on your third place podium finish here. You said earlier today you didn't exactly know what to expect. What did you make of tonight's race?
Well, I tell you what, this was Scott Douglas's track today. That man had everything, and he drove it hard. Well, we came out here. This is a brand new truck we built in the off season for our guys up in. And, we didn't have a lot of test time. With all the rain we had this week, we had, 6 laps a couple times and then 5-lap qualifier. And we were searching for gear and kept thinking that sweeper might open up. We need some more mile per hour. So we were tight on the converter and just had to make a call, and it worked our way. Our crew got it done quickly. We got a new crew we're starting with here in Texas now. And hats off to Bill Easterly and our Texas crew. Those guys really put it together, and it helped transfer some knowledge from Wisconsin to Texas. And we're going to start running out of Texas now and meeting these guys at each of the races. But I tell you, we had one big thing out there for me. When the lights come on, that doesn't mean stop. That means go until she blows. And AMSOIL, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who AMSOIL is, you need to know. These people kept this truck, and I was lights on, overheated, 290 degrees, 300 degrees on oil. We had 245, 250 degrees on water temperature. It was just, it was crazy mad, but good lubricants keep the thing alive. So got us a third spot.
There you go. Congratulations, Mike. We'll see you in St. Louis.
Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you.
Good job, Mike. He's already given her nickname, Katie. That's it, Katie Mosborn. Known her for a while. And her rookie trip here.
Yeah,
Mike's no rookie, but he talked about how he just kept it pinned the whole race. He had a very good chance of winning this race tonight. There were several guys, the top 5 guys, any one of them could have won this race.
A quote by a driver last year had worked his way, kind of the learning curve, and he had told me that, I finally figured out that I have to scare myself every single corner of every single lap. And if I'm scaring myself, I'm going fast. And I think there.
Well, a lot of racing today. Glad you could be a part of it. For those of you, the fans here, get to meet those drivers across the track. But I'm dumbfounded. It's been a long weekend, a lot of rain, and my brain's soggy. Scott, it was a great event. I'm ready to do it again next month in St. Louis.
It seems like it was a very, very long off season, and it's so cool to start it here. The fans been fantastic. The hospitality's been fantastic. I can't wait to see what the track is going to look like. It's going to be a brand new facility for us. Never been run there before. So once again, everybody's got a clean slate to work from.
All right, let's send it down to our podium. The final, ladies and gentlemen, taking third place today out of McKinney, Texas on the Traxxas Cooper Tires Ford. How about a big round of applause for Mike Jenkins? And taking second in Pro 4x4 on the Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota out of Wisconsin, Johnny Greaves. And the Pro 4-wheel drive victory out of El Cajon, California on the AMSOIL Portland Exhaust Walker Evans Racing Ford, number 7, Scott Douglas. A big round of applause for your podium of the Pro 4-wheel drive here in Texas. So that's it, Scotty. We wrap it up here in Texas, and we move to St. Louis about a month from now, and it's been a good one. I expect bigger and better things, not out of you, but these drivers are going to be even faster. They didn't have much testing coming into Texas, but it was testing tonight, and a lot of them came out strong.
Well, I want to give one final call out also to Wayne and Debbie. Kyle, thank you so much for coming out here tonight and actually partnering with us. I'm going to be sticking around here this week and actually going out to the benefit with my wife this following weekend. So my fun in Texas is not over with, but you mentioned St. Louis. In a couple of weeks, I go right back to it. It's going to be like the first race of the year again because nobody's ever run on there before. Everyone's got a clean slate.
We hope to see everybody at the Chris Kyle Memorial benefit that will be next weekend that you're going to be at in the stockyards. On behalf of Scott Rain and Katie Osborne, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you next time at Torc, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. We'll see you in St. Louis.